when he met the media today. For now, Harden says he's focused on being in Houston. The Steelers are 11-2, but they've lost 2 straight. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger says it may be time for fans to take a cleansing breath.
This team is special, and the season is not over. I want everyone out there to take a deep breath. I know it's kind of crazy right now, but just take a deep breath. We've got time. And so that's my mindset, too. Take a deep breath. Let's get ready to go this week.
The Steelers play Monday night against the Bengals in Cincinnati. At least 6 Texans players, including quarterback Deshaun Watson, gathered on Tuesday for the grand opening of Watson's new restaurant franchise. NFL COVID-19 protocols prohibit more than 3 players gathering outside the team facility except for team travel. Watson said today the players were wearing masks. The Raiders will be without 4 defensive starters for tomorrow night's home game against the Chargers. Jonathan Abram, Damon Arnett, and Nicholas Morrow all have concussions. Clelin Ferrell has a shoulder injury. The country's longest consecutive bowl game streak is ending. Virginia Tech opts out of bowl season after making 27 straight appearances. They end the season 5-6. And Kansas State also opts out of bowl season, the team pausing all activities. They finish the season 4-6.
Thursday on ESPN Radio, we look ahead to the Raiders in a game they desperately need to win against the Chargers, your full NFL weekend, and it's the airing of grievances with me, Greeny, starting noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and streaming on ESPN+.
Isn't this a sports show?
Also, if you listen on the app, you get the X-rated Sirius XM coverage where they curse. You ever want to hear Kevin Harlan say, "Oh, he bleeping missed it"?
Almost entirely.
None of that's true. Except for somebody being able to listen on the app and the website.
Marv Albert.
That is true.
Jordan Purdue, bleep yeah!
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Put the bleeping hammer down!
Rock chalk it the bleep up!
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
What else are we missing? What else can we go to?
Oh, I'm trying to think of like famous calls.
Yeah, me too. Do you believe in miracles? Holy bleep!
Dang it!
Is that yours?
Yes!
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All sorts of things to talk about, all sorts of places to talk about it on. Welcome in to another edition of Almost Entirely Sports. Rudy, I hate to tell you this is the front of the show, but you should put the camera on where people can see. Hello.
I was thinking to myself that we really need to update the avatar on the Twitch account because right now it's just a purple person, basically.
Yeah, we do need to update that. But we also need to make sure all the cameras are working. Listen, this is our second day being broadcast to every which corner of the universe, digitally and otherwise, over the air and the largest signal for an all-sports radio station in America, and in every nook and cranny of the internet. That's Almost Entirely Sports. And the last one with me in the year 2020. So we will celebrate that in a way that only we can. We will certainly very, very soon look ahead to Chiefs and Saints. We are still not totally sure who's going to be starting at quarterback for the Saints whenever the game comes around Sunday afternoon. And that game has a lot of very interesting, both big and small questions. And the Chiefs have the distinct honor in that game of not really having to win it, which is, this is going to seem quite obvious, really nice to not have to be that concerned about it against a team and in a game that we were circling. I mean, I was in here. It was one of the first shows I had done back in the studio in a little while. We had this new plexiglass set up between the host chair and the guest chairs, coming in to do a show about the schedule being released. That's where we were at, kind of prime, nothing going on in the pandemic sort of situation. I was doing a schedule release show here in this same exact chair, and we were circling this Saints game as a losable game for the Chiefs, and more than anything else, a fascinating game that really could be a Super Bowl preview just like a month and a half in advance, really just by any metric, a truly fascinating game right there on the horizon. Now, we're not totally sure who's playing quarterback for the Saints. We're not totally sure if the game's really going to matter for the Chiefs at this point, because they've gotten not just help from the Buffalo Bills, but also the Washington football team. So the Chiefs right now are alone and looking pretty good in the number one spot in the AFC. And I don't want to say the game's lost its luster. I really don't think it has from the Saints' perspective, because they're trying to keep time right now with the Green Bay Packers, as those two teams are dueling it out for the top seed in the NFC. All very exciting, though, all very interesting. It's just a little bit different than what we expected it might be whenever the scheduler was released, and we'll unpack a lot of that. Also, the Chiefs talked today. There are a few really interesting things, I thought, from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, so we can unpack some of those over the next little bit as well. Rudy, you were gesticulating in a way that made me nervous, and then actually encouraged. Looked like maybe happy gesticulation.
Yeah, nothing bad. So, well, I guess it depends. So it does not. I'm testing out the chat feature, right?
This is also what I would love to be able to tell people about, but I'm not sure it's working on my end.
Yeah. So the link does not appear to be working.
Okay.
But no, actually, I know why the link's not working. I need to send a new link. You have to go live with everything,
and then
you have the link, and then you upload it. Because at first it wasn't working on the app through Caster. But I closed it and redid it, and I can see everything. It's got two Twitch icons with two separate, it's got the Facebook icon that says test with my name that says testing out the Caster bot.
Is it too soon to say 2021 is going to be the year of Almost Entirely Sports? I think in some ways you could say 2020 was the year of Almost Entirely Sports. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl and everything else went to hell.
It's true.
So,
and 2020 was almost entirely
our fault.
A plague?
Yeah, it really was.
Was that?
Will you send me the new link?
Yeah, let me send you that new link.
And I'll explain what's going on.
It should work perfect.
This is, again, this is the last show that I'll be, and I'll do post-game this weekend, but the last AES where I'll be here for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get back at it again on the other side of 2021.
By the way, I just remembered I will send out the tweet now, too.
That's fine. Listen, you got a lot of plates spinning back there, Rudy. I'm not too mad about it. Here's one thing though. This is a New Year's resolution for Almost Entirely Sports. Maybe this is something we need to dig back into. New Year's resolution for AES in 2021. We were way better. If only at one thing. There was one thing that we were way better at whenever the show was on ESPN Kansas City.
New link works, by the way.
And I see it, and it's beautiful. I don't actually see any comments yet, because I'm guessing it just populates if it's already open.
Okay, yeah,
I do see that it's connected and whatnot.
Okay, yeah, I got one, but I probably opened it a second before you. So yeah, you will not get anything that's been commented since you opened it, or prior to you opening it, but everything that gets commented since will pop up for you.
So here's what's going to help here. So as we mentioned last night, and we won't spend the first 5 minutes of every show for the rest of time on this topic, but as we kind of figure out some things on the fly.
Certainly for the rest of 2020.
Yeah, it's a good joke.
Because this last show.
We have gotten the setup here. Hopefully we'll figure out Twitter a little bit better, and because Twitter's changing some things, and we're trying to figure some things out in terms of being on Twitter where you can watch the show. But for basically since very near the show's inception over on ESPN Kansas City, Beards and I got the show up on the ESPN Kansas City Facebook page, gave people another place to interact with the show. Now we have the Sports Radio 810 Twitch, which is at twitch.tv/sportsradio810. We've got the 810 WHB YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/user/810WHB. The facebook.com/sportsradio810 Facebook page. All these places where you can watch the show. You can see me, you can see Rudy, you can see Dick Justice and all of the other mascots of the show. And maybe more than anything else, it's a super easy way to interact. You ask a question, you make a comment. Back in the ESPN Kansas City days, if there's anything that we were better at then than we are now, it's that we paid more close attention, I think, to the comments and had a more consistent sort of flow of interaction with the commenters. Well, now I believe that we're at a place where where we're able to see the comments from all of those places all in one feed that I'm going to try to keep an eye on personally for tonight's show as a bit of a test run. And so if you've got any questions or whatever, I'm not gonna interrupt a nice 15-minute monologue about why Taysom Hill's the future of the quarterbacking position to answer your question about, my jacket or whatever. But we might have a segment where we burn through a bunch of questions. We might see your question and have it send us off in a different conversational direction. And we're going to try to really be better. I want to bring that back in because it was one I did. I mentioned this yesterday. I did an Among Us Twitch stream on Monday night and really enjoyed just having that part of the show kind of back in my in my Rolodex. So we'll be better at that, I think, next year, and may as well start tonight to try to get that back into the swing of things. So leave your comments wherever, and by next year, we're going to have a different little bottom third logo. I worked on that a little bit today. I'm going to polish it up tomorrow. We'll debut it in 2021. We will not have to wait, though, mercifully, for another 2 weeks before the Chiefs play again. Let's talk about the Chiefs and Saints a little bit. We will not do that alone, by the way. We will have two guests tonight, one at the top of each hour, as is pretty standard fare. We'll talk to Kyle T. Mosley. He covers the Saints for Sports Illustrated. He's one of the cleanest URLs in the business. You can go to saints.media and get straight to the Saints coverage on SI.com. I love a good URL. As the owner of AES.show, where you can get our podcasts, Saints.media is chef's kiss, delicious. We'll talk to Kyle at 8 o'clock and try to get his perspective on not just what's been working, what hasn't for the Saints, which I think is already pretty interesting, but what's going to happen this weekend. I think he'll have a better chance of guessing between Taysom Hill and Drew Brees than I will. So we'll talk to him at 8. And then at 9, in the last hour of the year, again, I think Allie probably will step in at some point next week for a little Almost Entirely Sports, so I don't want to, please listen if Allie hosts or whoever. But for my last hour of AES of the year, Tucker D. Franklin, esteemed interchin, deputy editor of Arrowhead Report now, will join us for some Christmassy and New Year themed power rankings as we will power rank our way through the end of 2020. So that's the plan. But there was a bunch of audio from today that I thought was really interesting, and I want to get into some of that in a second as well. Where I'm at right now in Chiefs Saints, though, there's some news that came down today. I was out at Arrowhead shooting a video that'll be up on all the 810 socials later tonight or tomorrow morning, whatever. And I thought maybe there are two main takeaways from the pressers today outside of some of the more interesting story kind of things I want to talk about, but two kind of bullet point things. One was an injury update that we'll get to in a moment. The other thing, though, was the Chiefs talking about Taysom Hill and Drew Brees. This may have been a media-assisted distraction, not distraction, but sort of missing of the target, because I think that most people on the Zoom call today, and I wasn't on the Zoom call but was thinking this, thought this is probably going to be one more Taysom Hill game. We talked about this with Matt Verderam on the show last night. The Saints play again on Christmas. You're going to bring back Drew Brees from a punctured lung and all of those broken ribs and just sort of say, yeah, you can probably play 2 football games in 5 days. Whenever you're a legit Super Bowl contender and he's 41 years old, the most important thing, you obviously want that first round bye if you can get it, but I would rather have Drew Brees and have to play that week than have lost Drew Brees again and not get to and have the first round bye by some miracle. I know it's not quite that clean of a dichotomy between those two options, but man, it's just kind of spooky. I would just, and if the doctors say he's ready, then he's ready. I can't imagine that we see him not out there in a flak jacket of some sort and playing through pain and still trying to rehab, all the cartilage between the ribs that can cause problems. I can't imagine that Drew Brees today is 100%. And if you think he could maybe go from 80% to 90% by not playing against the Chiefs, I would think that would make a lot of sense for the Saints. I'll ask Kyle about that in 45 minutes. But for the most part, the Chiefs talked about Taysom Hill and were nice enough. And, he's a BYU guy. Andy Reid's a BYU guy. So they had Andy Reid had some fun at saying he's representing BYU well and all that, and that's all fine and good. But I'm not scared of Taysom Hill literally at all from the Chiefs' perspective. It just doesn't bother me. Like, I'm just not afraid that he's gonna be the one that really makes this defense pay. And frankly, because of that, I'm not afraid of the Saints very much this weekend, because as we've talked about, and I think it's become only more clear with time, even if you're able, as the Dolphins were last week, to create some turnovers, to get lucky on a few and to be great on a few, the two tipped interceptions early were a little bit lucky, but it worked. The sack that cost 30 yards and was basically another turnover, and Xavier Howard's interception, those two plays were incredible skill. So they got lucky and they were good, but they weren't able to maximize literally every possession that they had. And so they lost by more than the final score dictated, and the Chiefs ended up putting up 33 anyway. I'll tell you that I don't think that in almost any situation, individual running backs move the needle for an offense, right? That's a slightly softer way of going down the running backs don't matter rabbit hole. I like watching Alvin Kamara. I don't know how much the offense changes with or without him. It certainly changes less than it does from Taysom Hill to Drew Brees. But I do think that he's an excellent football player. And that whenever you look at what the Saints have, their best bet is throwing the ball to Michael Thomas. Their second best bet, though, is throwing the ball to Alvin Kamara. And while I think that those two guys as weapons provide legitimate threats to a Chiefs defense that has its moments and has its negative moments, I'm not worried about Taysom Hill being able to be the guy that super efficiently spreads it around to those two and plus the other sets of weapons they've got. And all of a sudden, you go, wow, the Saints put up 35 in this game. I just don't think that's very likely with Taysom Hill at quarterback. I'm not worried about him as a runner. Verderam was the one that said the T word yesterday and said treat him like Tim Tebow. Make him beat you throwing the ball. And that, in some ways that's disrespectful, I suppose. But it's also true. I mean, it's also the right strategy. Blitz him and make him uncomfortable, and then don't give him a place to run. By the way, I don't remember if I said this on the radio or if I just tweeted it, but Taysom Hill has a higher cap hit next year than Tyreek Hill, and that is very funny to me. If Drew Brees is out there, I don't know what that means for the long term for the Saints. I don't know if it's a smart move long term if he is able to go. But if Drew Brees is out there, I'd be much more worried about the Saints making the most out of their possessions. They weren't perfect with him, but they had some really great games. And he's had times where he's looked limited by his age and degrading arm. But the quickness still largely seems to be there, even if the velocity on the ball isn't. And velocity does matter even when you're throwing the ball short. Because you're talking about, the amount of time from point A to point B. That all matters. And still, I think Drew Brees could do a little bit of damage. Not what the Chiefs offense can do on even a good day, but if they have a disastrous day, aided by the Saints defense, which I don't know if it's more matchups or more reputation as of late or what, but I still kind of think it's got some juice. They gave up 24 points to the Eagles last week, which is obviously not terribly flattering. Before that, it was Falcons, Broncos, Falcons, and they obliterated them on both sides of the ball in all those games. The game you probably remember best, or at least where they looked the best, was that absolute dominator over the Buccaneers back a few weeks ago. On it was in prime time. I don't know if it was Sunday night or Monday night, but it was an obliteration. By the way, if you watch the show on our various feeds, you get to see whenever I sneeze, even though the radio audience can't hear it. It's like a fun little inside bit for us. You can see me hit the cough button and then sneeze into my shoulder. No one else is in the room with me. It's okay. I meant elbow. I don't know if I guess I could kind of sneeze into my shoulder. It feels like that would probably be bad for my neck, though. Anyway, I'm significantly more bothered by the Saints with Drew Brees than I would be with Taysom Hill, and I don't think that the Saints are picking between Taysom Hill and a healthy Drew Brees at this point. I'm not saying that no one's texted me Drew Brees is limping, but it just seems logically reasonable to say, I have to wonder what he would look like if he did come back and try to play after a literally crushing injury. On the specifics of where Brees is at right now, he has been designated to return, and that the specifics of that do not make me think that this is any sort of shoe-in that he will be playing on Sunday. So I think the conversation is still very much about who will play and not how well will Brees play. Mike Triplett of ESPN wrote earlier today, quoting Sean Payton, saying that he has a ways to go still. He's not activated off the injured reserve yet, which means he doesn't have to be on the injury report and all that. But he was designated to return from injured reserve, a procedural thing that you would expect them to do pretty much as soon as they could even use it for an advantage. Now, conversely, the Chiefs did not do that for Mitchell Schwartz yet, which we'll have to unpack a little more here in a minute. I'm not shocked by that, for the record, but it's not a shoo-in that you do make that call. But the Saints say we're at some point Drew Brees will be playing quarterback for us again. That makes a lot of sense. Sean Payton said, we haven't ruled anything out. We haven't ruled anything just because we don't have to. He's got a ways to go still, and he's someone we're not going to hurry back and just put him in the game. I think the significance of the injuries are such that you've got to make sure he can function and feel confident. That makes sense to me. Is he going to be able to play on Sunday afternoon? I have no idea. If he feels good enough and the Saints are confident enough in his body and in his mechanics that they think they can put him out there on Sunday, that worries me more than seeing Taysom Hill start at 100% full health, which is where I'm at this point. The other thing, and maybe the more concerning long-term thing, maybe the more concerning short-term thing, was the injury news out of practice today. Mitchell Schwartz is on IR with some sort of back issue. He came out and played that first drive against Buffalo, clearly was fighting through a back issue. Before that, we now know in retrospect. Played that first drive, then left the game and has not returned since then. Back injuries are scary, especially for linemen. I mean, not that they wouldn't be for a wide receiver, but you're just talking about the anchor of everything you're trying to do there. So I don't know what the timeline for him is. I don't know if anyone really knows anything about Mitch Schwartz. That is a reference point to last week. We saw Mike Rimmers leave the game with some back tightness. He, of course, playing right tackle in Mitchell Schwartz's absence. Today, Rimmers didn't practice, nor did left tackle Eric Fisher with back tightness. Now, listen. I am not trying to sound a bunch of alarms. I don't want you to drive into a ditch or freak out. And I also am not shoehorning in, again, any secret texts that like a text message, not like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Although if I found the Dead Sea Scrolls and it was like Eric Fisher's back injury is serious, I guess I would probably tell you. But I just hearing what Andy Reid said today made me really nervous, because we have an example very recently of a relatively innocuous back injury becoming something that knocked out one of the Chiefs' best players for, at this point, nearly 10 weeks off the top of my head. I think it's about right around there. 8 to 10 weeks or so. I have no idea if Mike Rimmers right now is is taking a day off and they think that he'll be able to rest up and it's not nearly as serious as whatever's going on with Mitch Schwartz and he'll be back for the Saints game. I don't know if Eric Fisher's just basically taken off a day because he's got a little soreness back there and he's going to stretch it out today and he'll practice tomorrow and everything will all be fine. I don't know if all three of those guys right now have a serious back injury. I do not know. But in any instance, just seeing back injury for your top three players at a position group where you got to play two of them at all times is spooky. Obviously, and today, I think I said this already, Mitch Schwartz could have been designated to return from IR. He could have been back at practice. Byron Pringle was. Byron Pringle is not activated yet, but he was back out at practice today after his 3-week IR stint. Not bringing Schwartz back is fine. I think if we see Mitch Schwartz in the playoffs, I'll be happy for him and for the Chiefs and all of that. I don't know at this point if Schwartz or if Rimmers and Fisher are precautionary measures or if there could be something more serious there. I don't know. That's something, though, worth keeping an eye on through these next several days on tomorrow's injury report. And I'll tell you what, if the two of them don't practice tomorrow or Friday, I'm really nervous. Because it's just hard to play whenever you don't practice all week. And Andy Reid obviously doesn't like that. He'd like for everyone to practice as much as possible, I think, and certainly at the end of the week. I don't think that the Chiefs' offense is easily derailable, but if you said that going into the Saints game, they were going to play Yasir Durant at right tackle, and I'm literally opening the depth chart right now on our lads, which is does a really good job of keeping depth charts up there. And none of these are like to the bone official, but it's just a good site that charts it all well. There's literally not a backup behind Eric Fisher on the depth chart on our lads. I'm guessing that whenever Mitch Schwartz was active, Rimmers was probably on the left and right side as the backup there. Maybe Martinez Rankin is ready to go, but he's coming back from an injury where you're still wondering where he's at in terms of like football shape. Someone tweeted and asked about Stefan Wisniewski. I do think we probably see him consistently at this point now. I don't really want to see any of these guards kick out to tackle though, and this team has a lot of depth on the interior line. Allegretti, Ryder, Wiley, Kilgore, Wisniewski, even Rankin. Rankin's the most likely to kick from guard out to tackle, but Yasir Durant has gotten the tackle. He got the tackle snaps whenever Rimmers left last week. I don't know, man. That one spooks me a little bit. Brian Witzman, I guess they could call up. I believe he's still on the practice squad is sort of fake this year, but I think he and Wisniewski are both technically practice squad right now. Maybe you see. Here's the thing, and again, I think Patrick Mahomes can thrive in a lot of situations. In a worst case scenario, Brian Witzman and Yasir Durant as your starting left and right tackle is going to be cause for concern on a variety of levels. I also think Andy Reid probably schemes that game very differently, where you get a lot more Nick Keiser snaps because he's hanging out to help one of those guys a lot. But that's something to keep an eye on if the Fisher and Rimmers injuries end up keeping them out the rest of the week. If they all practice tomorrow, this is great. And if you're listening to this in a podcast tomorrow afternoon and you've already found out that Fisher and Rimmers practiced on Thursday, you could have fast-forwarded to this point, and that's totally fine. But as of Wednesday night, I'm paying attention to that. I'm a little nervous. Anyway, that's I still, you know what, Rudy? I still don't. Oh, I do have all the chats up now. This is great.
It doesn't appear that YouTube is working though. The YouTube comments are popping up.
Are there comments on YouTube? Have you verified that that's there? Well, listen, you can't win them all.
And when you load it, it doesn't say connected to YouTube. So I've been trying to find anything, any kind of article that has an idea of what's up there, but I can't find anything.
We'll figure it out. Well, here we go. Here's some comments from Twitch and Facebook. One from Rudy Joseph Salazar. Josh, you lie. You'll interrupt a monologue if somebody compliments you. That's true.
When you said that, I immediately typed that in thinking maybe you were looking at it and I could interrupt you in the middle of your 15-minute monologue.
I was in the zone. Alex asked on Facebook, do you think Travis and Patrick can go OPOY and MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Most Valuable Player, obviously? I would love that. I do think that at this point it's going to be pretty hard. This sucks because I'm telling you, the 2 interceptions that got deflected up into the air, I'm watching one right now on TV on the left here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire basically volleyball setting a pick to the Dolphins might end up costing Patrick Mahomes one of his better statistical arguments for winning MVP. My guess is either way, though, is that either Mahomes or Rodgers will win one of the MVP award, or one of the MVP awards, and the other one will win Offensive Player of the Year as kind of a consolation prize. I would rather, at this point, I honestly would rather Travis Kelce win Offensive Player of the Year than Patrick Mahomes, because I think that on some level what Kelce is doing is more remarkable for the position that he plays, even though he's not the most valuable player or even the Offensive Player of the Year on his own team. Kind of convoluted, but I think it's interesting. There are more comments, and if you add more right now, we'll check them out on the other side of the break. You can leave those in the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page, the brand new Sports Radio 810 Twitch. If you put them on YouTube, Rudy will keep an eye on them. Otherwise, we'll come back and we'll take the questions we've got. We'll bring some sound, and we'll keep talking about the Chiefs and Saints as we round out 2020 here on our final full cast. Well, not really full cast. Final Josh and Rudy edition.
Final
of AES
full reboot cast.
Yeah. Final 2020 version of the cast after, you know.
In every good show, a main character dies halfway through to only be revived later on. We're just in that middle part.
That's a great point. It's the tertiary character. You know, it's not the handsome lead nor the fan favorite. You know. Listen, you're Mike Wazowski. I'm Sully. We lost Randall for a little while.
And he may be back.
And he just got invisible.
We're working.
Maybe he's coming back. Who knows?
Maybe he'll be a different person. Maybe he'll be good all of a sudden. I mean, like a good guy.
The motto of,
but also good at his job.
The motto of 2020 was New Year, same beards. Maybe the motto of 2021 will be New Year, new beards.
Maybe.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings any. Let's take a break.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey, Kansas City, Steven St. John here for Pajamagram. You know that 2020 has been a hell of a roller coaster, so this Christmas, spoil the woman you love by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas exclusively from our friends at Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin. She'll love slipping into these every night because the texture and touch of naturally nude pajamas is so soft and luxurious, they'll melt away her stress. Check them out at pajamagram.com, and listen to this, because right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal, free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing, so beat the holiday rush. Go to pajamagram.com and get her these naturally nude pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's pajamagram.com. And please tell them Steven St. John sent you.
Looking for that perfect holiday gift for your top customers and clients? Well, give the gift of Joe's Kansas City Barbecue. Joe's Kansas City can ship their championship smoked barbecue kits anywhere in the United States. Ordering is quick and easy at joeskc.com. Stand out from the crowd and wow your top clients with their world-famous Z-Man kit or their burn ends and brisket bundle. Fair warning, though, this is the gift your customers will expect every year. Log on to joeskc.com and get your holiday gift giving started today. Robert Brogdon Buick GMC in Olathe is your destination location for quality new and used vehicles. You'll find the area's largest inventory of new Buicks and GMCs, including the all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, plus a huge selection of hard-to-find models with a hassle-free customer experience. At Brogdon, they know your time is valuable, making sure to give you the fastest car buying experience. And Brogdon is an official GMC Business Elite dealer, serving the entire KC metro area with professional-grade vehicles for your fleet or commercial needs. Visit robertbrogdon.com. See him in person at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe.
What we have, you can't find with the search engine. Maps won't navigate you there. But it makes a big difference when you find it. It isn't expensive or complicated. It's our simple, timeless values, like honesty and humility. They've helped us support our customers and communities for more than a century. And it's those values that guide us today as we seek new ways to serve you. That's tradition for today. That's Intrust Bank.
And now another edition of Obvious News from Geico. Obvious News! A study says that soft talkers do not make great radio personalities. We asked local librarian Steve Sage about this, and here's what he said.
Honestly, I don't buy it. I think I make very captivating radio.
Also in Obvious News, Geico makes it easy to save money and easy to manage your policy with the Geico app. So switching is a really smart decision. How does Steve feel about this?
I love the Geico app. I use it all the time.
That's Obvious News from Geico.
Obvious News! The Sports Radio 810 Fan Shop is up and running just in time for the holidays. Head over to 810whb.com/shop to find the perfect gift for the KC sports fan in your life. Whether you need something for mom, dad, grandma, or grandpa, the 810 Fan Shop has a large selection of styles, colors, sizes, and designs. From hoodies to crew necks, t-shirts, long sleeves, and more, there's truly something for everyone on your Christmas list. The Sports Radio 810 Fan Shop online at 810whb.com/shop.
If ever there was a time to give that special someone in your life the gift of spa, it's now. A spa experience will deliver stress relief and pure relaxation. Par Excellence gift cards can be purchased through the Par Excellence website or the Par Excellence app. We appreciate your support of small local businesses, and we will get through this together.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Where's the smoking a joint standing on a horse capital of the world? Oh, that's Kansas City.
Right here. Midwest, baby.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The last major event I remember going to, just period, like the last major event with lots of people that I was at, involved a man standing on a horse smoking a joint in downtown Kansas City.
Big 12 tournament?
My birthday party.
Ah.
Does everyone, I don't know what everyone else's lasting memories of the Super Bowl parade are, but I've got that, the wild car chase down the parade route, and the guy falling out of the tree with his entire butt hanging out of his pants.
I think that was my favorite one.
I mean, they all had their perks, but yeah, I mean, there was a dude who was just mooning people from like, I don't know, a full like 2 stories up, in a tree, and then he fell down comically, like hitting each branch and making little boing boing noises on his way down, and he just popped back up, pulled up his pants, got along with his day. I admire to be that kind of resilient.
People tend to do.
Yeah.
Just a normal day. It's just a normal moment in his daily routine.
I think we could all be better at learning to just pull up our pants and go about our days.
That's how our parents would have done it.
Hunty on Twitch says the Bills are the biggest challenge in the AFC. Changed my mind. You can watch on the Facebook, the Twitch, the YouTube channels. I've got the comments from the Facebook and the Twitch all in one beautiful little roll here. YouTube. If anything great comes up on YouTube, Rudy, you can chime in. Here's what I'll tell you. This is a tease for an hour and a half in advance. But one of our power rankings categories with former Turchin and now little Chiefs boy Tucker Franklin is going to be top 5 threats to the Chiefs in the AFC, ranked 5-1. So I'll give you my take on that then. Farrelly on Twitch says the Chiefs have played really well against quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. Not at all worried about Taysom. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think that also in both of those instances, Taysom Hill is like the worst of that type, in that grouping. I do think it's funny whenever Deshaun Watson gets lumped in with Lamar Jackson, then Taysom Hill gets lumped in with Tim Tebow. Why are we doing it like that? But I mean, I think Lamar Jackson is probably the most interesting comp of all of those. And the Chiefs handled Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson does everything at quarterback better than Taysom Hill does.
Taysom Hill is a lefty, right?
No. Don't think so.
shaved heads? Did Tebow go to BYU?
Might as well have. Strangely, he, with all of his sort of BYU sensibilities, was in a huddle
up at Florida
with Aaron Hernandez and all sorts of other. That huddle
Meyer.
had that. Yeah,
and he wasn't in the huddle, but
No, that huddle had some characters though. Iced Pyro on Twitch. I think the Twitch usernames are going to be a really nice new little flavor text. I don't need to even say where it comes from, because if I say Alex says, it's on Facebook, and if I say Iced Pyro, it's on Twitch. So this is weird. I normally listen to the podcast. By the way, Tullamore do. I would Tullamore. We have had a wonderful relationship with Tullamore Dew, triple blended smooth sipping Irish whiskey on the Sports Radio 810 WHP postgame show. I would love to bring Tully to AES. Maybe then there's the Twitch only little post game show, AES After Hours, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. The issue we would need to do that from home for that to really, because my thought was like, yeah, let's just crack up a couple of let's every single night, let's have a nice sipping glass of Tully. Do a little show from 10 to 10:30 every night, and develop that habit. And also, then we have to drive home afterwards. You know what? That idea's falling apart. So maybe that's a weekend show from home. Maybe Friday night.
We got a couch downstairs.
Yeah, I just don't want to sleep on it every single night, which is what my new plan would bring me to. Let's play a little bit of the audio from today. I thought there were a couple of things that were relatively interesting from the Chiefs. And the one I want to start, maybe the only one we'll do in this segment, is Andy Reid talking about how he's always the one taking the blame for things whenever anything really doesn't go well in the context of the game. Sam Mellinger of the Kansas City Star asked this question and basically said, when we ask you about anything that didn't go great in a game, you say, well, we got to be better. That starts with me. I could have put them in better positions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's basically become a meme. Like, Andy Reid saying that's on me has basically become a meme. In fact, literally today I heard, but I think it was on yesterday's Le Batard show. They have the useless sound montage every week of NFL coaches. And the first, I kid you not, 2 or 3 minutes was a bunch of coaches and quarterbacks taking blame for things. So it has gotten around the league in a way. And also, it can be a bit silly sounding. Whenever you say, hey, the defense gave up 97 points. What happened? And Andy Reid will say, I could have put Spags in a better position or whatever. He's going to always try to at least take that first bullet. And I thought it was a great question from Sam because it's not something that we really talk about outside of the structure of it basically being a meme. Here's what Reid said to Mellinger bringing that up.
Yeah, well, I think we all need to do that. I mean, that's part of it. And it's something that most people don't do. I think you better look in the mirror before you criticize others. And so it starts with me. And I've got to make sure I do that, sincerely do that, not just say it. So, and I've tried to always be that way. And I expect, the guys to do the same. I mean, the best that they possibly can. And start with yourself and be honest with it. And let's not worry about everybody else. And take care of ourselves.
I thought that was so interesting because there's a logic to it that's not just I'll be the meat shield so no one else has to take any heat in the press or whatever. It's because if you ask Mahomes why our offense wasn't good enough today or whatever, he should say I wasn't good enough. If you ask Tyreek Hill why he didn't get the ball more, he should say I didn't get open enough. And I think that there's something to that kind of being the default setting in a culture where if everybody said, I mean, if you've run into something in work or in school or in life in general, whatever, where something goes wrong and the other person says, that's my bad. That totally diffuses the conversation and the tension so quickly. Where instead of, and again, I really think for Andy Reid, it's not about a media deflection. It's, hey, once within this room, we're gonna find something that was our fault, and we're gonna take blame for that part of it. And then whatever else, well, I couldn't have done anything different about it, and so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna say, here, I could have done some of these things better, and I didn't because I wasn't perfect. Because no one's ever perfect, so you can always honestly say that. And then that expectation of that attitude gets passed around the locker room. I just think that's something that we're not really able to kind of unpack in that sort of detail very often. And again, there's not a lot of people do it. Everyone does it publicly now, right? Every coach and quarterback will publicly say that's on me, because if they don't, if they say, yeah, A.J. Brown dropped that pass, I'm Ryan Tannehill, and I should have an extra touchdown this year. Well, then that becomes the whole story. So I don't know what everyone's logic is, but hearing Andy Reid explain it in that way, it sounds like it just sort of comes from an honest place of self-accountability that then sets that standard for everyone else in that locker room. And that's just sort of the culture setting stuff that I try not to speculate about, because we just really don't know. Whenever we do see a little bit of it kind of peek through a crack like that, it stands out to me. And so it was a great question by Sam, because it's something that we've talked about a million times in passing and in jest, but I've never thought, I wonder if there's actually something kind of deeper beneath that. The other thing is that if your focus is on, because listen, how many times has Patrick Mahomes been the reason the Chiefs have lost a game? I'm going to say 0 would be my guess. But if you, as Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes or Chris Jones or Nick Kaiser or whatever, if your thought leaving a game or a situation is, man, if he just would have done that thing better, all of a sudden now you have declared yourself sort of flawless in a way that's totally unreasonable. But if you say, well, yeah, listen, here's what I could have done better and where I could have been better. It doesn't mean that, McCole Hardman didn't drop that pass if Andy Reid says I could have been better preparing them for that play or whatever. McCole Hardman still dropped that pass. McCole Hardman still fumbled it there. That's only his fault. But you can kind of find things to be your fault that you can improve on if you have that mindset. I thought that was really interesting. We're going to take another break. We'll talk to Kyle T. Mosley of Saints News and the Saints News Network on Sports Illustrated here in about 10 minutes. Whenever we come back, more audio from today's Chiefs presser and more questions. If I actually set up, and maybe the first time in my lifetime, maybe begin working on a bit of a New Year's resolution before the end of the year, just trying to really get ahead of it. Or maybe I'll forget that I have that tab open, and this will be the last time I mention it for the remainder of the show and the remainder of 2020. That remains to be seen.
At JB Briscoe, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here, and I'm so proud of Kansas City right now. Not just the football team, but to all the folks who stayed strong, showed class, and pushed through tough times. We all work together as a team and do our part. That's why Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC wants to help KC with employee pricing, special rebates, and Costco auto program savings all month long. Take over $7,000 off MSRP on 2021 Chevy Equinox SUVs. Was $33,085, now only $21,333. I know what you're thinking. Steven, we're looking for a Silverado or that new Blazer. Oh, the new Blazer. No worries. They've got you covered with employee pricing on most Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC cars, SUVs, or trucks. Let's keep it classy, KC, and show the world that we're champs on and off the field. Come see why they just make it easy. Go online to robertsrobinson.com or check them out on Facebook at Roberts Robinson. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Have some free time? PRA Health Sciences is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 60 to participate in a study of an investigational medication. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 9 nights and one follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $4,400 for time and travel. Call PRA today at 913-210-5900 or visit us on the web at prastudies.com/Lenexa.
The Chiefs are ready to run it back.
What a play by Mahomes!
And Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the NFL playoffs.
Wilson throws for the end zone. Metcalf has it. Touchdown, Seattle.
We'll bring you live coverage of all the action from the wild card round to the Super Bowl.
Touchdown! That's it! That's it!
Your home for the NFL playoffs. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
'Tis the season for Five Farms Irish Cream. Celebrate the holidays with the taste of the world's best Irish cream sourced from County Cork, Ireland. Perfectly paired with coffee, hot chocolate, or simply on its own, Five Farms is sure to add warmth to your favorite cup. Go ahead and add 2 bottles to your holiday shopping list, 1 to sip on and 1 to make the perfect gift. Visit fivefarmsirishcream.com. Cheers and happy holidays from your friends at Five Farms Irish Cream.
Greg Gurley here for Buck Roofing. The only consistent thing about Kansas City weather is change. There's only one company I trust, and that's the same company I called to work on my mom's house, Buck Roofing. Put this number in your phone, 913-384-2680. I'm a Jayhawk, and we know Ron's a Wildcat. The only thing we both agree on is Buck Roofing is the best roofer in all of Kansas City. Your home is probably your biggest investment, which is why you need a trusted roofing company to repair or replace your roof. And that company is Buck Roofing. When Ron Buck and his team repair or replace your roof, you know they will be here years from now to take care of anything you need for the life of your roof. Need a little help with financing? Buck Roofing can arrange that as well. For all your repair and replacement needs, call Buck Roofing, 913-384-2680, or online at rbuckroofing.com. Sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
Welcome to Elevated Automotive, Kansas City's most exciting new dealership. Infiniti of Kansas City has acquired Nissan to deliver Elevated Automotive, an impeccable experience featuring 2 smart and luxurious brands in 1 convenient location at I-35 and 67th Street, continuing the 5-star treatment and sales experience clients have come to expect from Infiniti of Kansas City. Visit Kansas City's premier automotive shopping and service experience in the expanded Infiniti of Kansas City showroom under their new name, Elevated Automotive. Follow online on Facebook, Insta, and elevatedautomotive.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Congratulations. Take that W. Straight to hell.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I think our future is just going to be Twitch. We have Rudy mentioned this during the break. We're getting so many more questions than we usually end up getting because Twitch is better for that. Who would have thunk it?
I think the future is Twitch.
Did I say Twitch is the future and you think the future is Twitch? I think that's a pretty...
You said probably, our future is Twitch. I said Twitch is the future.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Two comments on the Twitch from Farrelly. And by the way, if I'm reading Twitch names wrong, you guys are on your own to correct me. Also, Darth Maul Dad has commented, I love Twitch. Something else I've noticed that's just totally bonkers to me. The delay from our computer to Twitch is literally less than our delay over the air because we have a dump button. But if I say mother bleepin' bleep bleeps, Twitch is just going to hear it. But it's so quick. The Twitch connection is so smooth. So Farrelly asks 2 questions. Why do you think we're still seeing so much of Ben Neiman and so little of Willie Gay? And did you see the Pro Football Focus tweet? I believe I'll add that it was a Pro Football Focus Chiefs tweet, which probably came from our friend Sam Hayes. Willie Gay being our highest rated defender on Sunday if he would have had enough snaps. This is something that we dug through a little bit with both Seth and Matt Verderam last night. But I think that it really ends up being something that each of them mentioned in their own ways. I really think Matt and Seth are both on the right track here. There is an extreme premium from Spags and from the Chiefs defense being put on linebackers being where they're supposed to be and knowing that they're going to end up being in the right spot and make the right read and choose to be in the right coverage and all that. I know that that's sort of ambiguous in a way that's really frustrating, especially because Willie Gay has the speed to make one of those mistakes and then catch up before it ends up actually hurting them. And he is so much faster and more explosive than any of their other linebackers. But I think that just the assurance of, hey, Ben Niemann's not going to get us burnt on this play, even if he doesn't get home on a blitz now and again. I would rather see more Willie Gay than Ben Niemann, just to be clear. But I think that's the logic. And then also, it's putting Willie Gay in situations that he can look good in. So we see him pop. That was sort of one of Seth's theories that I thought was really, really smart. He's being put in situations that will make him look as good as possible, so we get more angry when he's not in the other situations. And also, yes, I'd like to see more of Willie Gay on the field also.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
If the two of you got through 2020 together, you can get through anything. This holiday, make it official with a stunning engagement ring from Shane Company. Create your unique ring in 3 easy steps. Simply pick a setting, choose a natural diamond, ruby, or sapphire center stone. Then add your own touch, like a decorative crown or a personal engraving. Here's another option. Select one of our perfectly preset engagement rings. Each of these rings is already set with the shape and size center stone that our designers envisioned, which means that your ring will be perfect. Because our quality standards are the highest in the industry, we're able to guarantee your ring for free for life. This year and every year after, we'll be here for you. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com. Open weekdays 9 till 9, Saturday 10 till 8, and Sunday 11 to 5.
A Christmas tradition that brings joys to hearts is giving gifts to those we love, especially our families and children. But for our homeless and low-income neighbors in Kansas City, the simplest gifts are extras they just can't afford. But you can help bring hope to them this Christmas by donating to City Union Mission's Christmas Store, where qualified families shop for free for their loved ones. To donate, go to missionchristmas.org and be a blessing to our homeless and poor neighbors this holiday season.
Let's face it, we're all ready for 2020 to be over, and at Reed Buick GMC, we want you to end 2020 on a high note, with employee pricing for everyone on GMC Sierras, Terrains, Acadias, and Canyons. As always, you can reserve your new GMC wrapped in plastic with your name on it straight from the factory. And as an added bonus for 810 listeners, mention 810 and receive your first 3 years maintenance free. Call 816-436-6300 or go to reedbuickgmc.com today.
As stressful as moving can be, the best thing is eliminating as much of it as you can. That's where Let's Get Moving came in for us. Hey everyone, Jason Anderson here, and when we knew we were officially making the move, the only choice was the highest rated local moving company in Kansas City. Local guys that started the company to make the moving experience more personally designed for you. Let's Get Moving is a full service company. Local moves, long distance moves, residential and commercial. When you want to make the move smooth and stress free, Let's Get Moving is the company. Check them out at letsgetmovingllc.com.
Bring holiday joy to your home or office with Zarda Barbecue's new Black Box Catering. Celebrate the end of a challenging year by ordering fully customizable hot meals featuring your favorite hickory smoked meats and Zarda sides. Whether you have it ordered in or ready for carryout, Zarda Black Box Catering is a great way to bring your coworkers together without a buffet line. You can even add a tasty dessert. Call our Zarda Catering specialist today or go to Zarda.com. Zarda Black Box Catering, come get some.
I saved big money with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, so I finally bought that new set of golf clubs. Watch out, Fairway. Here I come.
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big with Progressive, but your other expenses won't just disappear. Are those clubs going to help you when the hot water heater dies? Also, it sounds like your money is better spent on golf lessons.
Time to go shoot the course record.
No, but maybe time for a reality check. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Have you experienced Kansas City's newest high-rise apartment building? Reverb is situated in the thriving Crossroads Art District at 18th and Walnut. Each apartment home is complemented by the minimalistic, raw nature of the space through luxurious features and finishes. Reverb was created to inspire your unique personal style and provide a luxury apartment that residents can truly make their own. Reverb features floor-to-ceiling sliding panoramic windows which provide residents breathtaking city views. Check out Reverb today at 1800 Walnut in the Crossroads District or online at reverbkc.com.
Sports talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. The New Orleans Saints have cleared quarterback Drew Brees to return to practice, but they say he's still a long way away from being healed from those 11 fractured ribs. In the meantime, Taysom Hill is preparing to lead New Orleans against Kansas City on Sunday. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky says Hill may be the starter, but it might not last.
The Saints offense is predicated upon efficiency and rhythm. That's why Drew's been so remarkable. He's probably one of the best ever when it comes to that. Taysom, while he gives them like more explosiveness and a different wrinkle, he's not efficient enough, and he's not rhythmic enough. And so those 3 or 4 like completions that he misses that are easy checkdowns on first down, it really throws off the foundational aspects of their offense.
That was Dan Orlovsky this morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin here on ESPN Radio. In college football, 13th-ranked Southern Cal most likely will be without leading rusher Vivea Malapaya. For Friday's Pac-12 championship game against Oregon, Malapaya spraining a knee ligament in Saturday's win over UCLA. Tipping in moments in college basketball on ESPN, 21st-ranked Duke at Notre Dame, ACC opener for both squads on ESPN and the ESPN app. Right now, Villanova ranked 7th, up 16 late, under 2 to go at home against Butler. And in the Big Ten, number 20, Ohio State, trailing at Purdue by 8 with under 30 seconds to go in West Lafayette.
We're back on Thursday, and the Saints have a huge game against the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 15. I will tell you why it's time for the Saints to take a look at Jameis Winston on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Thursday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
I mean, it had to be California, right?
It's got to be California, right?
Right, yeah.
With Joshua Brisco.
God, it's Alaska. Damn it.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This weekend's game between the Chiefs and the Saints has gotten to kind of a point where all the reasons we were super hyped about it, like whenever the schedule came out, whenever that was 7 or 8 years ago, it's all a little bit different at this point. We've been talking about Taysom Hill for a couple of weeks, but now it sounds like maybe Drew Brees could be back out there, plus all of the fun things on the Saints' defensive side of the ball we've barely scratched the surface of. So, mercifully, you won't just get me trying to guess which quarterback's going to play and how good the Saints' defense might be, because we've got Kyle T. Mosley of SI covering the Saints for Sports Illustrated. You can follow him on Twitter at KTMoze, that's KTMOZE, and at Saints News. You can get all of the straight link to the SI Saints page is saints.media. And Kyle, if I can compliment you on anything out of the gate, it's that's one of the cleanest URLs in the game. Saints.media is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, man. Took some maneuvering, got it, and it looks good. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing excellent. I'm very glad to be talking to you, and I appreciate you making the time tonight. I know that you've been certainly very busy as of late. This is an actual question, because I was wondering this earlier. It's a half joke, half serious question. Do you know how many ribs Drew Brees actually ended up fracturing?
Well, I know he had 11 fractures total. Right.
Okay.
So I don't know out of those how many ribs were they, but 11 total. So I was just amazed he was able to stand and be able to hang in there. You know, a lot of his teammates didn't know he was injured for quite a while until after the game. So Drew Brees is a tough guy. He showed how tough he was. He's a consummate professional, but you know, man. Look, some guys who get hangnails, they couldn't last that long, right?
Yes. Listen, Rudy, who called you a little bit ago, Rudy just looked up, and I imagine Rudy was remembering a couple days ago when I asked if I could borrow his nail clippers because I had a hangnail that was giving me some real trouble. That actually happened. If I had a fractured rib, much less 17, I would not be here tonight. So what did you make of the news today? Was the Saints declaring him as one of the guys that would return from IR, was that just procedural? Did you think that would happen? happened today, and what does that look like for his status on Sunday?
Status on Sunday is still up in the air. Yes, it's procedural for the New Orleans Saints. I don't anticipate Drew being able to play on Sunday other than possibly being in an emergency situation. Look, I think right now Taysom Hill may get the start again. You know, he's been having some ball issues, right? And Coach Payton doesn't really care for that, especially Taysom may go and set the franchise record for futility and fumbles, eclipsing Aaron Brooks. But I think right now, man, you look at this team, I wouldn't be surprised if Jameis Winston did make an appearance or two, but I think Sean Payton is still committed to Taysom Hill.
That dichotomy, and that entire conversation the last several weeks, and really just even throughout the offseason, has been so interesting to me. They give Taysom Hill a nice little extension that keeps him there for a couple more years, and he's going to be paid handsomely next year. In fact, I found this out last week. His cap hit for next year, Taysom Hill's, is going to be higher than Tyreek Hill's cap hit next year, which I certainly would have gotten that wrong if you would have asked me about that. That relationship between Sean Payton and Taysom Hill has been fascinating to me. What did Hill do over his time there so far to earn that trust and to really keep it from even seemingly being a conversation about if he or Jameis would get the job whenever Breeze did get hurt?
Well, Sean Payton has always been true to his word. And if you heard him this week, I think he dropped a podcast with Jim Trotter and with Mr. Weitz from the NFL Network, the Huddle and Flow podcast. And he's been consistent. He said it. He told Taysom if anything did happen to Drew, he would be the first person he turned to give him the opportunity. He stayed true to his word. That's about it. And also, they did press him on the fact that Jameis is there, right? And Sean Payton did say, Jameis is a starter. And he will get an opportunity to be a starter if he comes back to New Orleans. So all this is, I think, at this time, Taysom is 3-1 as the starter for the New Orleans Saints. He has had some issues in dissecting the defenses. He's had some issues in maintaining ball control. But does that put Sean Payton at a position at this time to say, let me turn to another quarterback? I'm not sure if he's going to do it at the moment, but I think Jameis is on standby. Wait. Yeah. So, yeah.
So whenever you've seen Taysom as the starter these last few weeks, because again, you mentioned 3-1. There are 2 wins over the Falcons, 1 over the Broncos. They lost to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles last week. When has the offense with Taysom Hill looked at its best? Not what game or whatever. In what situations? What has he done well that's made the team look good? And then when has he done some things that have set them back a little bit and maybe make you second guess his spot right now?
Man, that's a good question. You have to look at the 2 Atlanta games as, I guess, a litmus test for him to say those were his better games, where he was able to roll out, effectively pass the football, catch the team off guard, the defense, the opposing team off guard with some off-scheduled plays, using his legs here and there as well. So I think that's Taysom's game right there. If he can just be himself, he's not a true pocket passer at this time. I think he can stand in the pocket for a bit. I saw him in Philadelphia be a little bit tentative, and he wasn't quite sure where to go with the football. And also against Denver, you saw that as well. So I wonder if there was some controls that were in place from Sean Payton to say, don't roll out, we need you, you don't want to get hurt, something to that nature, right? But I think Taysom Hill is best when he's able to improvise, and I think he's best when he's able to use his legs.
I think that's going to be really interesting because, the Chiefs defense has had its good moments and its bad moments this year. I think it's, whenever the offense is occasionally borderline flawless, you find the things to talk about with the defense and everything. I'll be very interested, though, to see how they try to defend him, because it does seem like two things that this defense is pretty good at and like to do. Keep him in the pocket, control those edges, and then try to pressure him. The Chiefs have been doing a ton of blitzing this year. Whenever Hill is challenged that way, one thing he's still going to have in his pocket, not literally, I guess, but is Alvin Kamara. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't been more, I guess, relied upon, especially in the passing game these last few weeks. And I know against the Eagles, he did catch a bunch of passes, but has his role changed at all with Taysom Hill out there?
Well, people kind of forget this. Alvin Kamara, the Falcons game as well as the Denver game, he wasn't 100%. He had a foot injury. And that really took him out of some of the game plan that was being installed by Sean Payton. Okay? So when he started to feel better, it was the second Falcons game and the Eagles game, and you saw him more involved with the game plan there. The problem has been with Taysom compared to, let's say, Drew Brees, is that a defense is going to key in on Alvin Kamara as one of the two options for Taysom. The first option, Michael Thomas. Second option, Alvin Kamara, right? So, therefore, that's when you have these screen passes. They haven't been as effective as before because when Drew's in the game, the whole field is his playground, right? So he could be able to dish the ball off to whomever. If it's a tight end, if it's a third-string tight end, he'll do it. So I think right now when you look at what Alvin Kamara can do, I think that's been the limitation that he's had with Taysom Hill. Can it be solved and resolved this next game against the Super Bowl champions? I don't know. But they're going to have to take their shots with Kamara. And whether we like it or not, this offense does not work if Alvin Kamara is not a part of it one way, shape, or form.
The NFC is also so interesting at this point where I can imagine, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to me, and please correct me if you're hearing something different, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense to me for them to try to throw Drew Brees out. And Sean Payton said they're not going to rush him and just try to throw him in there. I also very much understand, a team wanting to push for that number one seed because only the number one seeds get that first round bye. The Chiefs, with some help from the Bills and Washington, have now hopped back over the Steelers. So here in Kansas City, that conversation's cooled down a little bit, but right now with the Packers and Saints both at 10-3, I know that's got to still be hotly contested. How much emphasis is there on that number one seed, and then with the Saints having this game against the Chiefs, the Packers will not have a game that tough the remainder of their schedule. What's that look like right now?
Yeah, that's the problem. The Eagles' loss put the Saints in a precarious situation, right? These guys needed to really notch that win because most people and, experts really thought the Chiefs were going to come into the Superdome being the favorite anyway and win that game. If there was a game that they were going to lose, it was going to be the Chiefs game and not the Eagles game.
Yeah.
So now the problem is the Saints need to have Green Bay to at least lose a game and they beat the Chiefs, or Green Bay to lose two games, and if they fall to the Chiefs, they got to win the final two games against Carolina and the Vikings. So if these guys do not win against the Chiefs, they're really going to be in the hole, and it's really going to be a fight to see if they can be able to keep the number two seed, really, So there's going to be some challenges for this team. I don't anticipate, like you say, the Packers dropping 3 straight games.
Right.
I don't see that whatsoever. They do have a light schedule, and they're trying to capture that NFC North. But when you look at the New Orleans Saints and going into this game, I think you can hear it in Sean Payton's voice, especially in the press conferences that we've been having with him since the loss. I think he's really concerned. I think he knows this is a game that they have to be able to have a great showing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to go back to the fundamentals. What is kind of mind-boggling to me is the fact that, I have an article coming out about this. Every year, the New Orleans Saints under Peyton has at least one game that is a head-scratcher, that is a surefire win for the team, and they come out losing. And this Eagles loss was that one for them this season. But most of the time, those games come back to bite the Saints when it comes to playoff positioning. Hopefully, that would not be the case for them this year, but it seems like it's going to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one, I mean, on the list of losses, that's the one that jumps off the screen. The Raiders game back in week 2, bizarre. The Packers game in week 3, you never want to say that the seeding ended up kind of being changed in a week 3 game, but the Saints have had such an interesting just way their schedules played out with a couple of stinkers and some really dominant wins. They've been fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, and specifically looking at what they're going to try to do against the Chiefs on Sunday. Obviously, Kansas City is bringing a ton of weapons to the party there. What do the Saints have to try to offset either, Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce and all the other weapons and dealing with Patrick Mahomes? What do you expect to see from New Orleans defensively?
Well, first we're going to pray. And
and the good news is it's an afternoon game, so you've got basically noon to 3:30 Central to get on your knees.
Look, you're going to have the Who Dat Nation in the Baptist churches. You're going to be praising worship early that morning, and then you're going to have people in St. Louis Cathedral praying, saying the rosaries. And then it's going to be time for game time at 3 p.m., right? So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of prayer going on in New Orleans, man. Look.
I think that's the right answer. You're going to say something smart about football, but I think that's the right answer.
That's the right answer. That is the answer, man. Prayer is the answer, Josh. Remember that, right? Man, look, to be serious, man, the Saints' defense is a good defense, solid defense. It was the number one leading defense before that Eagles game, right? They hadn't given up a 100-plus yard rusher in 55 straight games, 55. And then they gave up 2 in one game, right? So is it a blip on the screen, an anomaly? Yeah, it could be. And sometimes you need to lose those type of games to get your head right, right? Look, I've been a Saints fan all my life, but I also understand I've been covering these guys for over 15 seasons, right? And one thing I do know, and I can see it, they have the proclivity and propensity to always make these type of bonehead mistakes in games that they are able to win. And I think what usually happens when a Saints team loses, like they lost against Philly, they come back, they rebound, and they perform very well. You saw it early on with the Raiders and that loss against the Packers, and then they went on their 9-game winning streak, right? So I don't think it's going to be run and gun all through the Saints defense, but I think it's still going to be a challenge when you have the number one receiver and you have the cheetah.
Yep.
So it's going to be something to be able to it's going to be great. It's you think about this, Josh. It's a fast track inside the Mercedes-Benz, right?
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, it's a fast track, and if these guys lose, I'm talking about the Saints, it shows them what they need to do. Perhaps if they get to the playoffs, win through the playoffs this season, and if they meet the Chiefs, that gives them the barometer, the measuring stick, or whatever you want to say, on how they can be able to measure back up with those guys in a rematch.
Yep. Well, Kyle, now knowing your credentials, I can say with confidence we can agree that at least we know on Sunday Willie Roaf's team is going to win. That's important to all of us. And
the Hall of Fame.
I actually pulled up his Pro Football Reference page to see. I couldn't remember how long he was in New Orleans before landing here. That is a long Hall of Fame career that man put together, absolutely impeccably.
I had the opportunity, man. Willie hasn't been on with us this season, but he was on with us last season and the season before last. And he's very nice. He broke down games for us, and I just love Willie Roaf. He is one of the best players we ever had by far at that left tackle position.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I've seen enough, all-decade teams and all-time teams. I think I don't know how many guys can really make an argument for being on two different teams' all-time rosters, but I think Willie Roaf might have an argument for two of them there. At least I don't think I'd argue against it. Kyle, thank you very much for making the time for us tonight. Good luck getting everybody in New Orleans in a position of prayer come Sunday. And if I'm lucky enough to chat with you again in February, I will certainly take that opportunity. Enjoy the game on Sunday. Enjoy the playoff run. Hopefully we'll talk to you again then.
Hey, thank you, Joshua. Thanks for having me. You guys have a good one. And who dat, baby?
No! Rudy, dump that. Get that out of here. That's a profanity this week. It's well, you know what? We'll allow it. Kyle T. Mosley, follow him on Twitter at KTMose, M-O-Z-E. And, go give the Saints account a follow at Saints News right now. You can get all the updates. We're going to need a lot of them this week as we figure out who's playing quarterback for the Saints. You can check out all of the Saints News Network up on Sports Illustrated. Just go to saints.media, or you can navigate around the SI sites and find him doing all of the work there for the Saints. As really at this point, I think all Saints fans have to be praying to the Saints for a little help defensively on Sunday. We'll take a break here on Almost Entirely Sports. Look ahead a little more to that matchup on Sunday and talk about a few more of the things that Kyle unpacked with us whenever we come back.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Right now, it's more important than ever to support local businesses. And 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence is open and ready to take care of you. Make 23rd Street Brewery part of your KU game day experience, whether you watch the game there or grab curbside pickup for your tailgates or watch parties.
But not just game days. 23rd Street Brewery is great any day of the week, and when the weather's nice, you can take advantage of their heaters on the patio. 23rd Street Brewery is open daily from 11:30 to 9 for dine-in, carry-out, curbside pickup, and can even help with your catering needs.
So support local and visit a Lawrence favorite, 23rd Street Brewery.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
'Tis the season, Kansas City. From cozy team loungewear to fan favorite stocking stuffers. Be the gifting MVP with Rally House this holiday season.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Get gifting at all KC Metro locations and online at rallyhouse.com.
Don't let the cold weather keep you from getting your work done outside. At Vanderbilt's, they have all the gear you need to keep you comfortable in the great outdoors. Insulated jackets and bibs from Carhartt and Byrne, neoprene boots from Boggs and Dry Shot, great layering pieces like Brawny and Western flannel, fleece, and sweatshirts, as well as stocking caps, gloves, and insulated socks. Vanderbilt's, keeping you warm for the last 45 years, with locations in Lawrence, Topeka, and Wamego.
Hey Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. The biggest discounts of the year are going on now with employee pricing for all at Victory Ford. That's right, all in-stock 2020s are being sold for employee pricing, plus you get all the rebates. From now till December 31st, only at Victory Ford. Visit us in person at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
After a year like no other, she deserves something truly special. And Diamonds Direct is here to help with our best holiday offer ever. 48 months, 0 interest financing on any purchase. So you can get her that diamond ring, pair of diamond earrings, or diamond eternity band and spread your payments over 4 years without paying a dime in interest. In fact, everything's included. All bracelets, all pendants, all new designer jewelry, all colored gemstone jewelry, even our designer engagement rings. Diamonds Direct makes it easy to splurge with this first-time ever holiday offer. And as always, your safety and your convenience are top priorities. You can shop in our showroom with confidence or video chat with us online at diamondsdirect.com and even arrange for curbside pickup. If we've learned anything this year, it's that our loved ones and our relationships are what matter most. So make her holiday the best ever with a gift that's romantic, timeless, and sentimental. And remember, with any purchase, you can take advantage of 4 years, 0 interest financing. Diamonds Direct
at 119th and Row.
Ho, ho, ho! It's Stephen Santa John back for our friends at Central States Beverage Company to bring you the 12 Days of Taste. Ho, 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 ho. Listen to the Border Patrol for your chance to win great prizes. It's the 12 Days of Taste on the Border Patrol. Brought to you by Central States Beverage Company and Sports Radio 810 WHB. Oh, ho, 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 ho!
Jerry is a 71-year-old Kansan.
This is Jerry.
Jerry is here to tell every Kansan to get a free COVID test to protect him and everyone else.
Get a COVID test, and I don't want to hear your belly aching.
Jerry doesn't want to hear your belly aching. He knows testing is one of the best ways to stop the spread and protect seniors, like Jerry.
No grumbling, no complaining, no squawking.
You've been old-schooled. Get a free COVID test, wear a mask, and keep your distance. Stop the spread. It's up to us, Kansas.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
4-year-old Ron, a bull, knocked down a train.
Who names a bull Ron? Ron is a stepdad name. No, it's not. Ron is the name of your stepdad.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Thanks again to Kyle T. Mosley of Saints News, the Saints News Network on Sports Illustrated. Good time, good conversation. Glad to get to chat with him. That was fun. And also good to have a little more clarity from New Orleans, essentially, that, you know what, it's probably not going to be Drew Brees on Sunday. And again, listen, I think Kyle told us as much. That could change. We could see that maybe for whatever reason the Saints think that it won't be that risky to try to trot Drew Brees back out there. But something else though in that conversation about the first round bye that I think is maybe missed. Maybe we may have missed it back in the first hour. Is to note that the Saints and Packers are both 10-3. But the Saints lost to the Packers head-to-head. They've lost 2 games in the NFC. I actually don't have the Packers 2 losses, but I know that the Saints obviously have the head-to-head victory. And the Saints now also have the Chiefs and then a couple of games they should probably win, but one game what they're currently not favored in. The Packers should win out the rest of the way. The Packers should go 10-3 after losing to the Bucs, Vikings, and Colts. So both teams have 2 NFC losses. Both have 1 AFC loss. But the Packers beat the Saints head-to-head. And I guess everything could change if the Packers could lose to the Titans in 2 weeks. If they, let's say they beat the Panthers this week, lose to the Titans, and beat the Bears. Well, if the Saints lose to the Chiefs, that's still the Packers' first-round bye. So there's that equation is more complicated for the Saints than it is for the Packers. And if you think there's any chance that you could end up having to play Taysom Hill in a playoff game instead of having Drew Brees ready to go for sure in a couple of weeks, maybe you just give him that last game and then have him ready to go for the playoffs. That would make a lot of sense to me. Now, and listen, the Rams and Seahawks, and again, I don't have all of the tiebreakers for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th seed down, but the Rams and Seahawks are both 9-4 right now, just 1 game behind the Saints. So their spot in the 2nd seed is not totally secured. there's a lot of football to be played still, especially at the top of the NFC. The AFC feels a little more figured out at this point, especially if the Chiefs beat the Saints, because that seems like a game that, that gets into 13. The Bills are 10-3. I don't see the Steelers making their way back, and obviously the Chiefs could lose that game to the Saints and still hold that number 1 spot because they would have their first loss in the NFC, which is basically equal to the Steelers' loss to Washington, but the Bills game for each team is the one that ends up really mattering.
If the Browns had beaten the Ravens, there'd be a little bit of, well, this slide from the Steelers continues. The Browns, maybe they win division. And not that the Browns aren't out of it now. It just seems less likely after with their loss to the Ravens.
For all of the things, we didn't get to as much of this as I thought we would yesterday. But because I also think I was slightly too dismissive of the Steelers on 2 fronts. I have not been impressed by their offense pretty much all year, but their defense has also dealt with a lot of injuries now. So they've had some, legitimate excuses. Maybe they lose to the Colts in 2 weeks. I don't see them losing to the Joe Burrow-less Bengals this week, but the Steelers could go 12-4 after starting 10-0, if they're starting 11-0, because they have the Colts and Browns to end the year. The Browns looked pretty good against the Ravens. At least their offense looked pretty good.
They're kind of a weird team where it also seems like, and this didn't happen against Baltimore, but like they're obviously a very heavy running team that seems like whenever they play, the gods just open up the rain from the clouds,
right.
And it's just like, oh yeah, this is the perfect day to run the ball. But yeah, Baker is a weird quarterback. Like, I think he's good, but also I don't know if he's good. When they're behind and he has to throw,
yes,
it doesn't look great.
No.
But when they're up and he throws, you're like, oh, it's not bad.
I said this on Monday night during the Twitch stream that I was doing. I thought, this is a safe space. It's Twitch. I can say whatever I want here. But I'm bringing it to the radio now. I may have actually also said this last night. I can't remember anymore. I am glad that Baker Mayfield is not the quarterback of the football team that I root for, because I just think that'd be a very stressful experience on a variety of levels. Much in the same way that I felt about last year's version of Josh Allen.
Not bad.
Their styles are not perfectly compatible or whatever.
He doesn't make he doesn't attempt the crazy things like Josh Allen does.
Right.
But part of that is because he's got a good arm. I mean, he like before halftime he unleashed that ball. Like I think they said traveled 74 yards in the air.
Yeah.
It's just not the Josh Allen, I'm a gunslinger, I can make every throw in the NFL. Like
they don't. I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. Where, you have a couple of movies or a couple of albums that you love that are not similar, but they make you feel the same way. That's how I feel about Baker and Josh Allen at this point, or at least really last year. This year's Josh Allen might be. I'm afraid that Josh Allen is that friend that we had in high school that you kind of love for a little bit of their chaos, and then they got their life together, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, I'm happy for you, but like, who's gonna
bite off the bottle caps of my beers now on spring break?
That's right. Yeah,
that's not a real life experience that I've had. Because here's the thing: you talk about this friend, and you know what? A person pops right in my head. I'm like, I know this guy. This guy, I would just hand him beer bottles during spring break, and he would just bite off the lids of my Coronas, and it wasn't good on his teeth. And now you see him now. Great shape, great job. He's
great
a cool
smile.
guy, fun guy to be around, but he's not the guy he was.
Yeah,
and you're like, whoa, who's gonna bite the bottles off my beer?
Yeah, no, I think I think that might be where Josh Allen's gotten to at this point.
Yeah,
like, listen, man, I'm happy for you. Like, I'm glad that you're not selling individual pills anymore.
And it makes you really appreciate, though, what you once had to. Like, I appreciate even more the hectic version of Josh Allen.
Yes.
Now that it's gone, I really appreciate it.
I think it's helping me appreciate Baker now, honestly, because I'm like, listen, you're not Josh Allen, but you're covering some of that same ground for me. When it's really like Josh Allen replaced for me like Jets Brett Favre. Jets Vikings Brett Favre was sort of that quarterback that I just fell in love with, even though he wasn't playing for my team. Baker's not that, but here's the other thing though. that I admitted on the Twitch stream, I was rooting for Baker Mayfield. I wasn't really rooting for the Browns per se. I didn't really care. But like, all right, Baker's got the ball in a minute and a half or whatever, and he has some great throw, and they go score in 70 seconds or something. I was excited because it's just an incredible thing happening. Which also, the fun thing about this is it's another element to where Chiefs fans should be experiencing a whole different element of football at this point. We can watch that stuff and enjoy it with absolutely no jealousy or like thought of, if he was a Chief, then maybe. Nope. You've got literally the best thing in football going on in your offense. By the offense as a whole, the quarterback, all that stuff. We can all acknowledge that Phillip Rivers has like the 5th best EPA per play this year among quarterbacks, despite being on a new team, being 1,000 years old and throwing to T.Y. Hilton, and I don't know who their second leading receiver is.
Zach Pascal, probably.
Is Eric Ebron still there?
No, he's in Pittsburgh.
Where's he? He's in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, he's in Pittsburgh.
I actually forgot he's in
Zach
Pittsburgh.
Pascal is one of the receivers. My guess is he's probably the number 2 leading receiver.
Zach Pascal is perfect.
Or no. Who am I thinking? I almost said T. Higgins, but that's a Brown. I think though the Colts also have a Clemson receiver.
T. Higgins is a Bengal, isn't he?
Or is he a Bengal?
Oh boy, we're really in a tree showing our butt on this one.
Here's the thing: there are a lot of Clemson wide receivers in the league, and I think the Colts might also have a Clemson wide receiver. But Zach Pascal is one of their top 3.
Zach Pascal's number 2. Michael Pittman Jr. He is 3rd leading receiver for them.
Okay, he's a USC guy.
Mo Alley Cox is their leading receiving tight end.
Hey, Josh.
Trey Burton, Jack Doyle.
You want to go back to Mo Alley Cox?
Sure.
VCU, baby. Played basketball at VCU. Trey Burton was Florida.
I don't want to get blue, but that's one of those names where having the hyphenated last name is really important for Mo Alley Cox. You gotta throw a middle name in there or something. I wonder what his middle name is.
I saw T.Y. Hilton play a college game once. They played KU.
Where'd he go to college again?
He was Florida Atlantic.
I needed you to say that with more confidence.
Well, because he was either Florida International or Florida Atlantic, either FAU or FIU. I think it was FAU because they came to Lawrence to play KU during the Todd Reesing era. So I got to see him. Also, weirdly enough, got to see. I was at the KU Houston game when Houston was led by Kevin Cobb and Jackie Battle.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
You know where I am stumped though?
FIU for T.Y. Hilton.
Okay. You know where I am stumped though? I don't know where Zach Pascal went to. I also don't have a clue. I did not know Zach Pascal existed until last year.
Why do the Colts always have a French-sounding receiver? Pierre Garçon and Zach Pascal. Really just Old Dominion for Zach Pascal.
Oh, okay. Big powerhouse.
Yeah.
Clemson, Alabama,
Ohio State,
Old Dominion,
Florida, LSU. Anyway, how did we get? Oh, you can enjoy Phillip Rivers. You can enjoy Phillip Rivers is what it was. You can enjoy Phillip Rivers throwing the ball to T.Y. Hilton and Pascal.
Also, can we, since we're on the Colts, the Colts are doing something I think the Chiefs need to take a playbook out of.
Which is what? Getting good performances out of Justin Houston?
Well, I mean, that would have been nice. But you know what the Colts do with Phillip Rivers since he can't move?
Yes. Oh, I wanted to talk about this with you for 2 weeks.
You know what the Colts do with Phillip Rivers since he can't move?
Tell me about it.
They bring in Jacoby Brissett to handle all quarterback sneaks and any sort of like, hey, we need a yard and we want our quarterback to run this, so we're going to bring in Jacoby Brissett.
I love that they're doing that.
So good. It's smart. If you don't feel confident in your starting quarterback for whatever reason to do the quarterback sneak, you know what you can do? Just throw out the backup.
Bring in Jacoby Brissett, who's probably like 6'8" or something. And
if he was 6'8", he'd be a Bronco.
He would have been drafted by the Broncos.
He's absolutely under 6'5", because otherwise he'd be a Bronco. He would have an $80 million contract backing up Drew Lock.
I don't know exactly how each of the Jacoby Brissett plays have gone this year. He's 6'4".
Fun fact.
Okay.
The top 2 quarterbacks for the Colts both went to NC State.
He was Florida and then NC State.
Yeah, he started off at Florida, but he transferred. Yeah.
You're right.
Huh, weird.
Look at you. Unbelievable. I really love this.
I don't know why I never realized that.
I love this cool trait you have.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Jacoby Brissett. Running the ball.
Here's the thing. I love that the Colts are doing that. I love that that's how they've decided to creatively solve their problem. I am now going to poop on your parade, just specifically for the Chiefs. I don't even want to be this guy. I don't want to be the guy that says, hey, take that fun idea and go put it in the tree with the guy mooning you. I want to embrace the fun, weird idea. And I think that there are some times where they should just trot Matt Moore out there or Chad Henne. It's usually, Henne's active. Matt Moore's not right now. But trot Chad Henne out there. Let him swag Henne right through the one of the center guard gaps. Just let him go over the top like LaDainian Tomlinson. Whatever. But there are 2 issues. There are 2 issues with the Chiefs picking up the strategy. I've thought about this. I've thought about this a lot, unfortunately.
And I actually have the solution to this, what I'd actually like to see him do, but I'll let you throw out your issues.
Okay. You can solve the problems that I'll point out, and we'll see where we end up. 2 issues. One is that the interior of the Chiefs' offensive line isn't creating space for Patrick Mahomes, Jacoby Brissett, Chad Henne, Matt Moore, Cam Newton, or LaDainian Tomlinson.
Cam Newton would get it.
He probably would.
It's a big man.
But whoever it is that's doing the sneaking is going to have to create their own space largely, and that's tough. So I don't even know if it would really work. That's my concern upon further review. Every offensive line should be able to get an inch on a quarterback sneak. I'm not 100% sure that this one could. I don't know. But the other more important thing is that the second you take Patrick Mahomes off the field, you know what's coming. I don't know what the Colts have done on every snap.
Bomb.
But I imagine that
all 9 routes.
That at least at one point Jacoby Brissett has taken that snap and then rolled left or right, or dropped. Maybe he tries a little pop pass of some sort, something so the defense doesn't know the play you're running whenever he comes out there. But the Colts have a pretty good offensive line, so you can just say we're going to bring out the 6'4", 28-year-old instead of
follow Quentin Nelson.
That's exactly right. You're basically sneaking it with Quentin Nelson at that point. God love Nick Allegretti or whatever, but the Chiefs' offensive line just not really sort of built that way.
Speaking of the man, Jordan Brown on Facebook says Allegretti is a beast. Bwahaha.
It's good to know that we've got some Nick Allegretti fans in the comments.
Just the timing of that's beautiful.
Really is beautiful. I got nothing. I like Nick Allegretti, but even if Colecchio Simile or Daniel Kilgore, those guys, maybe it could be a road grader or whatever. I don't know if it's gonna matter. The best usage of the most ideal quarterback sneak is 3rd and 1, and you've got some receivers spread out, so you spread the defense a little more thin. You've got a running back in the backfield who. Maybe he's going to take a handoff. Maybe he's going to roll out. Maybe you're going to run an actual play. And then, whoops, half a second passed, and Patrick Mahomes has now dived through the gap and picked up that yard. That's where your quarterback sneak is going to be impossible to guard. And as long as the Chiefs just aren't sneaking it with Patrick Mahomes, if you run that exact same formation but you trot out Chad Henne on 4th and inches, you know what's coming. And maybe he can get it. Maybe he can just leap and stretch out, and I'm still fine with him trying that. But I do think that some of the issues that Jacoby Brissett solves for the Chiefs, or for the Colts, he wouldn't necessarily solve for the Chiefs. Now, fix what I've pointed out, Rudy.
So ideally what I would like to see happen is part of the reason why Tom Brady was so successful at it is because of the fact that it was usually never a huddle up and we called the play. It was always a Brady just saw it was 4th and inches and he just rushed everybody to the line. It was snap and go. So ideally what I would love to see is for Patrick Mahomes to do that. Here's what I'm fine with doing. You get in that situation where it's fourth and inches.
Is he gonna shake off Andy Reid from the sideline?
You just make in this situation, I just think Andy Reid like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes come to the understanding like, hey, when Patrick Mahomes sees that it's fourth and inches and he makes that decision, we're good with it. Like we're right. Like Andy, I assume Bill Belichick at no point and I just drew a mind blank on their offensive coordinator's name. Who's the
Patriots?
Yeah,
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels.
I got you.
I assume they never get mad because like there was that agreement, right? When we're in fourth and inches and Brady calls us, we're going. So at the very least, because again, I will never watch Patrick Mahomes do a quarterback sneak the rest of my life. I've accepted it. I don't love it, but I've accepted it.
Do you think he might do it in the Super Bowl?
Probably not. Don't want to risk it. Got to save him for the big game. Pro Bowl's in the next week, I assume. Anyways, I want to see Patrick Mahomes recognize his fourth and inches, call it. Everybody rushes up to the line, except, oh no, it's Travis Kelce behind center, and Patrick Mahomes is standing out wide like a wide receiver.
I'm good with that. I think that sounds great.
So
they rush up to the line. Up to the line. But how about this even? How about this? Patrick Mahomes is in shotgun at like running back depth.
Okay.
Travis Kelce goes into motion from the tight end position, but then he stops right underneath the crotch of Andrew Wiley.
Yeah.
Ha! And then he just boom, Travis Kelce dives. Patrick Mahomes goes sprinting away, just like maybe he'll get the eyes of the linebacker.
And so I like that. I like it.
All right, call Andy Reid. This one's good.
It provides a little bit of the deception, but I think the key is because, one, you're right, the Chiefs' interior offensive line doesn't get a ton of push.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you even really need to get pushed on a quarterback sneak as much as you can't get pushed. As long as it's neutral, you're probably all right.
Yeah.
If you do it quick enough, I think that helps kind of. It gives the Chiefs' offensive line an advantage if you get quick enough to where the defense is maybe not totally set. Guys aren't totally ready. They're not totally for sure if you're going for it or not. All of a sudden, they see you rushing up and catches defense a little off guard, which gives your interior offensive line that little bit of a push. And then you just throw Travis Kelce 6'5", 250-pound frame, 260, whatever it is. Honestly, the Chiefs would probably get it like 80% of the time.
I've got 4 wide.
I'm down.
Trips on the wide side of the field. Then, Sammy Watkins over on the other side. Travis Kelce's lined up tight on the short side of the field. Patrick Mahomes is in shotgun, empty backfield. He says, color, or whatever.
Yellow, pink, purple.
Travis Kelce hops back like he's going to go into motion to the other side of the line. But while he's on his way, he plants his foot, gets under center, takes the snap, dives. Mahomes runs to the sideline.
Yeah,
basically.
He's just moving a little.
And Kelce just dives.
I'm totally here for it.
And then here's how you can keep the deception element of it. Sometimes you are going to throw it out of that. You're going to have that same formation. Kelce goes into motion, but it's just the Ferrari Pat motion sort of thing. He goes into motion. Maybe he stops at a little offset I formation. Then you just snap the shotgun to Mahomes. He's got the whole field to work with now.
And you know what you do sometimes? Flea flicker. Kelce takes a snap, just turns around,
and then
tosses
pitches
it back
to Mahomes. Oh!
And Tyreek Hill is just over the top.
Now,
here's the thing. I know Andy Reid's not listening to us right now.
No, he's watching on Twitch.
But I know somebody with the Chiefs is listening to this. Maybe not live. Maybe you're checking out the podcast later. I know somebody is. Pass it on.
I think what's happening right now is that somebody at Arrowhead is listening, and there are red flashing lights going off in one of the bunkers at Arrowhead because they just got the alert that someone got their hands on a playbook and just said the Chiefs' Super Bowl short yardage play. Like we just took it straight out of Andy Reid's brain. Like they got the detail. What about the flea flicker? They got it all the way to the flea flicker. They knew they knew. They got an iPad. How did Rudy get the iPad? They had the Kelce thing, that's fine, that's been done before. They had the motion, then him going to I formation, they had that before. That's been done. They had the flea flicker. So anyway, if we take this break and come back and the Twitch and Facebook Live and YouTube Live feed they just cut to like
it's just gone.
I'm gone, and then only the producer camera's on and Rudy's just sitting in his chair slumped over with the trank dart in his neck. You guys will know. The streams live forever. Somebody download all this as evidence. I want my family to know that that I got taken out because I correctly predicted the Rose Bowl right of 2021 that was coming in this year's Super Bowl. And frankly, I feel like there are worse ways to go.
All in the name of Mahomes.
Like, in Game of Thrones, there's like the coin or whatever. Can you basically give that coin to go get somebody else killed, right?
Yeah.
The idea that Andy Reid would use that coin on me, I think, is a bit of an honor. So if I get disappeared, honestly, please at least let them get away with it until after the Super Bowl. I want everyone to have that. After the Super Bowl, you can open the investigation. And if you find one detective in Kansas City that is going to actually attempt to draw my disappearance back
to Andy
Reid or any member of the Kansas City Chiefs, you're an absolute fool. And honestly, I get it.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Right now at Audi Shawnee Mission, experience why the Season of Audi sales event is the best time to get yourself the vehicle of your dreams. Come experience our state-of-the-art facility and check out the best deals of the year, making this holiday season one to remember. Audi Shawnee Mission off I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or AudiShawneeMission.com. Call now and take one home today. Come check out what it means to drive the rings.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is a cash-out refinance? It's doing a cannonball from your porch.
Watch out!
That new car smell. A new college graduate in the family.
With a BA in business and a minor in medieval Renaissance poetry.
Reading the words, paid in full.
Woohoo! Did it!
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers. Right now, rates are at a low 2.5%. Call 913-890-GOLD or visit us online at goldenoaklending.com and talk with an experienced local loan officer who will guide you every step of the way. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Our friends at American Shaman have a smoking hot new product I'm just burning to share with you. Shaman Smokes come in a pack of 20. They're available in cherry, grape, menthol, and original unflavored hemp. So when you're feeling the drag, spark up a Shaman Smoke for the satisfying and relaxing effects of legal hemp. Shaman Smokes are not intoxicating and contain absolutely no nicotine. Ask for Shaman Smokes at your favorite convenience store or pick them up at your local American Shaman. Shaman Smokes from American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
As we navigate the present, let's not forget our past. Together, we've seen growth and endured difficulties. But through the challenges, what matters most hasn't changed. Compassion, positivity, responsibility. The timeless values that united us in the past will guide us to resilience and well-being in the present. Find information and support at intrustbank.com.
The entire staff of Aristocrat Motors would like to thank you for your support during this challenging year of 2020. We're proud to have been here when you needed us for service, sales, or parts. As the year winds down, if you're in need of a new or pre-owned vehicle, please think of our team of experienced professional sales consultants. They're here to serve you and your vehicle needs. We all wish you and your loved ones a healthy and happy holiday season. Aristocrat Motors, I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or online at aristocratmotors.com.
Winter is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned, local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
With Joshua Brisco.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I heard a new phrase today that I've thought about approximately every 2 minutes since I first heard about it. Fractured throat. Fractured throat has really stuck with me, and if you don't know why, it's not another Game of Thrones thing, although it kind of sounds like one. And maybe a character in Game of Thrones, actually. You have Littlefinger, who's, sharing secrets with fractured throat. Lions center Frank Ragnow played versus the Packers with a fractured throat. I didn't know that you could do that.
I didn't know you could fracture your throat.
Because it's sort of, you think of it as being kind of like a little tube in there. But if you feel like, your Adam's apple and stuff, I guess it could fracture. There also might be like a bone in, maybe there's like a little bone in there somewhere that I don't know about. Here's the thing, maybe, cartilage. You can break cartilage, right? You can break your nose. Your nose isn't bone in the traditional sense. Here's the thing. I don't know the answer because I have purposefully ignored it because I don't want to go on the WebMD page for fractured throat. I don't want you to tell me the truth. I don't want to think about it ever again. I just wanted to talk about it once and no more. Power rankings next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Guys, have some free time? PRA Health Sciences is seeking healthy, non-smoking men ages 18 to 45 to participate in a study of an investigational medication. Volunteers must be available for 4 stays of 3 nights each and 1 follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $5,000 for time and travel. Call PRA today at 913-210-5900 or visit us on the web at prastudies.com/Lenexa.
The most NFL and Chiefs coverage in Kansas City. Dozens of exclusive weekly Yes and News conferences, including ESPN's Adam Schefter, Trent Green, Tim Brunhard, Jeff Chadia, Adam Teicher, Kevin Harlan, Nate Taylor, Bob Glauber, Field Yates, Stan Weber, Mark Bowrichter, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes. The official broadcast partner of the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, their executive loaner fleet is a cut above the norm, featuring an assortment of 2020 Mercedes-Benz models. Now combine that with 1.99% financing on most of the executive loaner cars, and you have a golden opportunity to make your next vehicle a Mercedes-Benz. Need more incentives? They need your trade-in. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City is also the #1 Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned dealer in the area. Take advantage of the great rates, great selection, and professional salespeople to help you select your next vehicle. So come see your next car at Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, 1/2 mile east of State Line on Highway 150 or online at mbofkc.com. Offer is with approved credit and ends September 30th, 2020.
This is Kevin Harlan. I can call 2 NFL games at the same time, but I only drive 1 car at a time. And I like the luxury ride and service that I get from my Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. Mercedes-Benz, 135th and Madison, or online at mbofkc.com.
With the largest selection of beer, wine, and fine spirits for 500 miles, there's no shortage of choices at Lucas Wine and Spirits Superstore. But one choice you'll never have to make at Lucas is choosing between impressing your friends this holiday season and saving money. Because when you sell more beer, wine, and spirits in a week than some stores sell in a year, you can sell the good stuff for less, way less. Small batch craft whiskeys, hard to find wines, rare spirits, beers, and holiday gift packs. Browse it all with expert help in person or explore online at lucaskc.com, where that incredible selection is all available to order for curbside pickup. And if if you live in Missouri, they can even deliver your holiday cheer right to your door. Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstore. In the Northland, just west of Liberty at 152 in Flintlock, Overland Park near 119th and Metcalf, and in South KC at 135th and State Line.
Lucas Wine and Spirit Superstore in the glass by itself.
Work hard and play hard with Easy Sport, Boulevard's refreshing rally ale. Infused with tangerine peel and sea salt, Easy Sport hits the shelves at only 99 calories and 4.5 carbs. This subtly salty, slightly tart beer packs a punch of flavor. Whether you just finished a run, a pickup game, or mowing the lawn, Easy Sport is a refreshing, guilt-free way to celebrate the everyday. Grab an Easy Sport. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. College basketball tonight in the ACC halftime in South Bend. And number 21 Duke leading Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 41-34. You can catch the second half on ESPN and the ESPN app. Now earlier, Purdue with a Big Ten win at home, opening up conference play over number 20 Ohio State 67-60. Buckeyes' first loss of the season. Number 7 Villanova with a Big East win at home over Butler 85-66. And with that,
congratulations to Jay Wright as he wins his 600th game tonight as a Division I head coach, including 7 years at Hofstra and now in his 20th season as the head coach of the Villanova Wildcats.
that is some kind of career. The call on 610 ESPN in Philly. Tonight, LeBron James and Anthony Davis making their preseason debuts in the NBA for the Lakers, taking on the Suns. James Harden did that last night for Houston. Harden's been demanding a trade for weeks, but he says it's not a distraction for the team as far as he can tell.
Since I've been here, there's nothing that's been said about it. You know, everybody in the locker room, coaching staff has been focused on ramping up and preparing for the season. So that's all that matters.
Charlotte's Gordon Hayward suffered a broken finger in his shooting hand Monday night in a game against Toronto. He's listed as day-to-day. And in college football, 13th-ranked Southern Cal without its leading rusher, most likely Vavae Malapaye, for Friday's Pac-12 championship game against Oregon.
Thursday on ESPN Radio, we look ahead to the Raiders in a game they desperately need to win against the Chargers. Your full NFL weekend, and it's the airing of grievances with me, Greeny, starting noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and streaming on ESPN+.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Tucker, what's your number one type of ice?
Vanilla.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We'll get to Tucker and power rankings in just a moment, but first I'd like to read you something that I just saw retweeted by Spencer Hall at EDSBS on Twitter. He just retweeted something that someone sent to him. It is a Wikipedia entry. And you could, Tucker D. Franklin, you can follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. He's our king of power rankings. He was an intern here, an internship for Almost Entirely Sports. He is now the host of the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast, new podcast every single day. What's the bit.ly for that, Tucker? I should know. I put it together. I don't remember, though.
It's a smart URL, smarturl.it/roughing.
Beautiful. You can see all the links through his Twitter account at Tucker D. Franklin, deputy editor of the esteemed arrowheadreport.com, part of the Sports Illustrated Network. Is that everything that's important before I read this Wikipedia article?
Yeah, I think so. You're good. Go
Okay,
for it.
excellent. This is about Amo Koivunen. He was a Finnish soldier in World War II and the first documented case of a soldier overdosing on methamphetamine during combat. He was a Finnish soldier assigned to a ski patrol on April 20th. Nice, dude. Are you kidding me? On 4/20/1944, along with several other Finnish soldiers.
It was 1969.
Yeah, well, that wasn't when World War II was happening. 3 days into their mission, on March 18th, the group was attacked and surrounded by Soviet forces, from which they managed to escape. He became fatigued after skiing for a long distance, but could not stop. He was also the sole carrier of Army-issued Pervitin, or methamphetamine, a stimulant used to remain awake while on duty. I'll add parenthetically, it's what I do to do long night shows. He had trouble pulling out a single pill, so he emptied the entire bottle of 30 capsules into his hand and took them all.
Seems reasonable.
He had a short burst of energy, that's one way to say it, but then entered into a state of delirium and lost consciousness. He remembered waking up the following morning, separated. That's, by the way, first upset is that he woke up the following morning. He remembered waking up the following morning, separated from his patrol and having no supplies. In the following days, he escaped Soviet forces once again, was injured by a landmine, and laid in a ditch for a week waiting for help. After skiing more than 250 miles, he was found and admitted to a nearby hospital where his heart rate was measured at 200 beats per minute, triple the average human heartbeat, and weighing only 94 pounds. In the week he was gone, he subsisted on only pine buds and a single Siberian jay that he caught and ate raw. He died peacefully at the age of 71. That man lived hard for a couple of weeks. He survived that and died peacefully later at the age of 71.
This is the toughest man to ever live.
At least the coolest.
Captain Finland.
Tucker, anyway, all of that was, when was the last time you took 30 pills all at once?
If you count Smarties as pills, then last week.
I do, actually.
My math teacher, every time before a test, used to give us all Smarties to help improve our test scores.
Did everybody, boy, this is going to really, I'm really about to tell some things about myself. Did everybody have friends who took rolls of Smarties and then kind of like rubbed them together into a fine powder so they could then like puff on them in a way that would create the illusion of smoking them? Or is that just me?
I mean, similar things, but not trying to make it look like they were smoking them, but just straight up like snort them. Yeah, sure. I have friends that did that.
I just took them
Pixie
like
sticks.
pills. That's all I did.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
I never did.
Like, I'm not big on like snorting things like the pain in the nose. Like, no, I'm good. But like, yeah, I had friends who would just like snort like Smarties dust.
So and I never did the like powder and try to like puff them thing. I just would melt them and then inject them. But that
on a spoon?
Yeah. Which
Smart
is
move.
really tough because by the time it got through the syringe, it was just a thin, long needle of Smartie.
Somebody on Twitch has commented BTM underscore FDR666X. There's a lot there.
I love
I did
Twitch
that with
usernames.
the Smarties.
Okay,
did
thank
what
you.
though? But did what?
Well, one of those things.
We said a lot of things there.
That's really exciting. The Twitch comments and also the emotes are really, I'm very excited about how those existing. Hey, Rudy, I have a question for you. Speaking of Twitch, is your Power Rankings original creation royalty free or nah?
Yeah. It's royalty free.
It
That's
is,
why
right?
we're able to podcast it.
All right,
I
excellent.
mean, of course it's royalty free. I created it.
You made it. I wasn't sure if you had applied for the things
I mean,
that would
have
get us
I?
DMCA strike.
Here's the thing: have I sold it to a handful? Like it may or may not be appearing on a Kanye song coming soon.
Sure.
So like,
It's gonna get sampled.
I have made money off of this. Of course, I have sold. Like it has been a hot ticket. I have artists all over the
Just
country.
start the music. Tucker D. Franklin, king of Power Rankings, former Interchin, Lil Chief's boy, deputy editor of Arrowhead Report, is here to close out 2020, the last hour of the year with me in this chair for almost entirely sports. We're going to power rank 4 things today. We are going to power rank our top 5 Christmas movies, our top 5 holiday flavors, our top 5 things to do on January 1st, 2021, and our top 5 threats to the Chiefs in the AFC. Tucker, where would you like to begin as king of Power Rankings?
Let's start with holiday flavors because I have a Twitter poll out there right now about this.
Okay. At Tucker D. Franklin on Twitter.
Real fast, I want a quick question. So is it stuff we're going to do this January 1st?
Yes.
Should I just put down January 1st stuff in general? I guess
Well-
they in theory could apply. 4 of them would apply in theory.
That's fine.
The number 1 is more of an old tradition thing than just nostalgia. But
That's fine.
But
That's
I could
fine.
still, if I wanted to, do it
Hey,
this year.
is number 1 on your list cough in your friend's mouth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that what you guys did every year? Hey, you know how you really get a year started? You get all the sickness out of the way right off the bat. Yeah, sure.
It's
January
tradition,
1st
Josh.
through 15th is it's hell. But guess what? The rest of the year, no more sick.
May our acquaintance be. Number 5 holiday flavor, Tucker.
Eggnog.
Is that a flavor or a drink?
It's a flavor.
Okay.
You can get like
Flavor of a
eggnog
drink,
flavored
yeah.
stuff.
Can we turn Tucker up a little bit? I can't say that to you because I know your mic's on. Okay, number 5 for Tucker is eggnog. Rudy, number 5 favorite flavor.
I put gingerbread.
Yeah.
It's a low-key good flavor.
Yeah.
I feel like people are either, it's kind of a hit or miss. I don't think you're too much in the middle on gingerbread, but I like gingerbread.
My number 5 holiday flavor, this might be a little controversial, pumpkin spice.
I mean, it's a holiday is holiday. I mean, pumpkin spice comes around for, like, say, if we're saying Halloween. Halloween's a holiday.
I don't think I had a pumpkin spice flavored thing that wasn't pumpkin pie this year, but I think it deserves to be on a top 5 list. Not Mount Rushmore, but top 5 list. Tucker, number 4.
Well, I've got gingerbread at number 4. I like ginger in a lot of different ways, and gingerbread is pretty good stuff.
There's a reason that I haven't commented very much on your guys' gingerbread takes. Rudy, number 4 holiday flavor.
I have peppermints. I imagine it's lower than where you and probably Tucker will have it. It absolutely belongs on the Mount Rushmore. Peppermint's not my favorite flavor, but like it's a really good flavor. There's just some other ones I like a little bit better.
Okay. My number 4, gingerbread. I think you guys are dead on. It's a very festive flavor, and I'm gonna contradict myself here in a minute, but I think that you get a boost for being a flavor that you bite into and you think December. You know, I don't know if I'm really. You can get a little ginger a ginger snap cookie in the spring or summer. That's fine, but it's very autumnal, very wintry.
Makes you feel like it's snowing outside.
Yes.
You got a nice little fire going. The chestnuts are cracking.
You got your chestnuts out over an open fire. Tucker, what's your number 3 holiday flavor?
I got pumpkin at number 3. Now, I do love pumpkin. I get pumpkin spice, lattes and everything. Come at me. You can take my man card if you want. If that gets my man card taken away, I didn't want it anyway.
Sure.
So I'm listening to my Taylor Swift, drinking my pumpkin spice latte.
Dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, and doing TikTok dances. That's
and
Tucker.
doing TikTok.
It's 2020. Go to hell, everybody.
Right. So pumpkin spice number 3.
I got no issue with that. I think it's been overhated to this point. I think 3 is totally fair. Rudy, number 3.
So I have a combo here. They're the same but different. Mocha or cocoa. It's kind of the same thing, but also kind of different. They got different, but it's just hot cocoa, hot mocha,
hot
just
chocolatey
nice,
bev. Yeah. I think that's all right.
Yep.
My number 3 holiday flavor: spiced cider. You got a cinnamon stick in there.
Good.
You got some star anise. What's that? A clove? Is there a little orange peel in there? I'm sorry. What is that? Is that a little rum? Also, did we get a little nasty out here on Christmas Eve? Yeah, we did.
That's a good one.
I like a good cider. Tucker, number 2 holiday flavor.
I like this flavor usually any other time of the year too, but especially at the holidays, cranberry. Cranberry is one of my favorite flavors.
That's good. I love a tart sort of fruity flavor like that. That's pretty good. That's a good call. I like that a lot. Rudy, number 2.
White chocolate. I like white chocolate year round, but it's more accepted around the wintertime. It seems like more people eat it. I like a nice white chocolate.
My number 2 is a very specific. I've narrowed in on this one. Unlike Rudy, kind of used this as a double down. For me, number 2, peppermint mocha. It's chocolate, it's peppermint, it's coffee, it's the liquid form, it's smooth. It's the only time all year long that I'm like, I could go for some Starbucks right now because they do it right. But also, just any good peppermint mocha absolutely crushes once it gets under about 40 degrees. Tucker, what is your number 1 holiday flavor?
I mean, it's peppermint. You can't beat it. It feels like Christmas when you're drinking it. I've got peppermint mocha creamer in my fridge. I go to Starbucks, I get peppermint mocha stuff. I get peppermint everything this time of year. And I was sitting at my computer this morning, doing a little work, drinking my peppermint coffee, and it's cold outside. I was like, this is it right here.
That's it,
this
baby. That's just it. That's just what we're cooking with. Oh, I love it. Rudy, number 1 holiday flavor.
Nuggets are currently beating the Blazers 69-50 at half. Nice. Number 1, Little Debbie Christmas trees. If that's not Christmas, I don't know what Christmas is.
Okay. Okay.
Love me those little Debbie Christmas trees.
I mean, that's a.
I don't know
that's
what
a
flavor
thing.
it is,
I don't know,
but like
I think it works.
But it's its own thing. Like it's a little Debbie Christmas tree. And you know what? You can have it year round, but oh boy, on Christmas, you want to get a little crazy, night before Christmas, like before Christmas Eve. You put them up as like ornaments. You just work them up like ornaments, and then when the kids come down, they just got little Debbie's hanging from the tree.
They
And
just
everybody
grab that
just
Christmas
grab,
morning.
and then you tell them, "Sorry, kids, there are no presents because I spent $1,000 on little Debbie Christmas trees."
And then
they're like, "We don't care."
They're like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Good work. That's what I would have done. I'm 12." My number one holiday flavor, mint chocolate. A York patty hits different in the Christmas times. This also can go back to peppermint mocha, but it's a little different. But my top two had to be in that chocolate and mint little space. I know some people think mint chocolate is gross. I've learned that over the last couple of years.
It's a good flavor. I
love it.
I don't love it as much as you do, but it's a really, really good flavor.
The only reason straight up and down.
Do you like the?
Please, Tucker, please.
Okay, sorry. I know it's your show, but do you like the ice cream? That's like the chocolate in the mint ice cream.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream, I think, is my favorite ice cream. I also like just a very chocolatey one, but especially if I could get a little if I'm going to Cold Stone or something like that. Remember when we went to places like Cold Stone
Never heard of it.
30 years ago?
We went to places?
Yeah, It was a long time ago. You get me a little mint chocolate. Here's the thing: the chocolate chips in it, not my favorite. You get me a little mint fudge brownie kind of action up in there. Ooh, take me home, country road, West Virginia. Oh my goodness, it's my favorite. I love it. There are top 5 holiday flavors. Let's go ahead and keep within the Christmas spirit. Let's do our top 5 Christmas movies.
I'm excited.
Or is that the barn burner? I think things to do on January 1st is the closer, probably, right? What do you guys think?
I'm most excited about Christmas movies.
Tucker, what's your vote? What's our closer here? You're the emperor of power rankings.
Oh, yeah, I think Christmas movies has to be the closer.
Okay, all right.
So we could do whatever you want.
Top 5 threats to the Chiefs in the AFC. It's a sports show.
Yeah.
Sports.
I'm gonna go. I'll go first this time, and say number 5 for me. Baltimore Ravens. I know right now there's some bubble action happening with the Ravens, but I think it's important that you think your offense can score and score in a variety of ways. Their defense isn't at its best form, obviously, but I think they deserve to be on the list. And frankly, there's a team that I think is going to get left off here that I'm not sure should be left off, but I decided the Ravens were more of a threat. Tucker, what's your number 5 threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
I've got the Cleveland Browns.
Talk about brownies. Any reason for that, or you just want to?
No, I just think the Cleveland Browns could be a decent threat to the Chiefs. You saw they played well against the Ravens, even though they were full strength and the Ravens weren't. But I think Stephen A. Smith had a take about this, and I totally didn't disagree with him. But yeah, I think the Browns. That's why I put them at 5. It's like the Chiefs will beat them, but they could be a threat.
Rudy, number 5 threat to the Chiefs in the AFC.
So in honor of us being on Twitch and stuff, Iced Pyro throughout the last 2 hours, just about every 25 minutes, just tweeted out his 5. And so number 5, a literal cougar.
Is that Taysom Hill?
No, just
he's BYU. He's a BYU cougar.
No, I think it's just like a literal cougar. Like Patrick Mahomes is out taking the garbage out, and a cougar comes out of nowhere and gets them.
Hard to disagree.
Remember when there was like a mountain lion cougar outside, spotted near the Chiefs practice facility a year or two ago?
No. Number 4 for me is the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, they've given them a tough run 2 times in a row now. I don't think they do it a 3rd time, but there's something going on there.
I think
they
would do
Gruden.
it 2 times or 1 time, and yet they've done it.
That's the logic. They've done it twice. I thought they would do it zeros. And they've done it 2 times now. I'd be a little spooked about seeing the Raiders. Not terrified, just number 4. Tucker, what's your number 4?
I got back injuries at number 4. I think that will be a pretty big threat to the Chiefs.
It's pretty good.
That's a great, I know that is terrifying. If you didn't see the news, Mike Rimmers and Eric Fisher both didn't practice today with back injuries. Obviously, Mitchell Schwartz has been missing a lot of time with his back issue. Yeah, it's scary. That's a good call, Tucker. Rudy, number 4.
Alien invasion. The aliens come. They're gonna look to take out the biggest threat to them and our most destructive weapon.
Yeah.
That's the arm of Patrick Mahomes.
That's the arm. I mean, it's a great point. If aliens were hovering overhead and we were like, hey, we can't get a lock on it because of its future tech. We can't use our radars and stuff. We need a human being with incredible accuracy and an absolute chooch, they would say, to throw this missile into the alien spaceship. They go get Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes is who you call.
And then Josh Allen would be like, well, I mean, I could do it also. And they'd be like, no, we're good, actually.
And then he would accidentally throw it back at us.
Yeah, 100%. He would throw it into the Earth's core by accident. Number 3 for me, Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe a little low for a team that's been the 1 seed this long. I think we've seen their weaknesses. Their defense is not at full strength, and it's not going to be again. Their offense, listen, we said it was really impressive for Mike Tomlin to go. Were they 8-8 last year? Somewhere around that?
Yeah, around there.
We said it was an unbelievable coaching job that Mike Tomlin was able to take Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph to 8-8. I think it's going to be impressive if he gets Ben Roethlisberger to 12-4. I still think the Steelers are 3, though. Tucker, what's your number 3 threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
Yeah, before I say that, have you seen the video of Duck Hodges that the Steelers did? They did a big old register to vote push, and at the very end, Duck Hodges goes, register to vote, and just in the most southern country accent ever. If you haven't seen it, you should look it up because it's very funny.
His nickname is Duck.
But number 3...
That's just his brand.
Yeah. It has to be, but I laughed at it for several moments because it's very funny. But number 3 is the Las Vegas Raiders. For all the things that you mentioned, they play the Chiefs tough. If they're built to beat the Chiefs because they're in the same division, it's just a nightmare of a matchup for the Chiefs. So I would not want to see the Las Vegas Raiders again.
I also think they might lose to the Chargers tomorrow night. You can hear that right here on Sports Radio 810 WHP Kansas City. Rudy, number 3.
Actually similar to you, Josh. Number 3 is Big Ben in an M1A1 Abrams tank.
Is that also from Twitch?
Yeah. No, these are all, he gave 5. He said number 5, number 4, number 3. This is Ice Pyro. Every 25 minutes, he basically started with 5, went to 1.
Okay.
So in honor of us being on Twitch, Ice Pyro, you did the work. You're going to get rewarded.
Twitch.tv/sportsradio810. Thank you, Ice Pyro. Number 2 for me, the Tennessee Titans. Not because of Derrick Henry, not because of Mike Vrabel, not because of the state of his perhaps detachable penis.
El Tractorcito?
It is because of A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill.
Brown is scary.
I think their best day, they could keep up a little bit. I don't think it'd be good enough, but spooks me a little bit. I got the Titans at 2.
And Corey Davis has been low-key really good this year after being a bust for his first few years.
You're right.
They have a dangerous wide receiver crew.
I kind of like the Titans. I didn't expect that to come from 2020, but
it's weird. They're a weird team.
This year's been strange. Tucker, number 2 threat to the Chiefs in the AFC.
Yeah, I got COVID-19. The big Rona's really playing well this year. You don't want to come across them at the wrong time. So coronavirus is the number 2 threat to the Chiefs.
Physical team.
Getting hot at the right time, it seems.
They are up in your face.
Yep.
They're down.
Physical.
Yeah, they'll take your breath away.
Always sticking around too.
Yeah, just lingering. You late in the game, you think, how are they still sticking around
here? They're really
here?
good at forcing you to make dumb mistakes.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't play down your level of competition there. And look, maybe like the Raiders, a lot of people just said, I'm not going to take this seriously. I'm not going to take this seriously. I'm not going to take this seriously. Boom, you're down by 20. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Rudy/Ice Pyro, number 2.
Number 2 is if the Russians hack the CBS feed.
So just Russian hacking.
CBS feed.
And so the CBS says, Steelers 47, Chiefs 0.
We never saw it. We can't prove it.
Number 1 for me is the Buffalo Bills. I'm buying it. I'm buying it a little bit. They got a couple of guys on defense. You're like, you know what? They got a turnover here or there. All right, fine. But Josh Allen's absolute A+ game, I think, has the best chance of hanging around with the Chiefs of anyone in the AFC. I don't think he's terribly likely to play at that level for 60 minutes. But if he does, it's a little spooky. Bills are number 1 for me. Honestly, the Titans are close at 2, though. I think we're overlooking the Titans. Tucker, number 1.
I've got the Buffalo Bills, too. Everything that you mentioned, Josh Allen getting hot at the right time. I don't think you can go back to the Bills game in, week 6 was it, and say, the Chiefs beat them then because the Chiefs ran offense so differently than how they ran offense now. So I don't think that's very true. And it downpoured rain the whole time. That was a weird game. It was in Buffalo, so weird stuff happens in Buffalo. And I think it was Nick Wright said that if the Chiefs play B- football, nobody can beat them.
Yep.
But I think that an A+ game from the Buffalo Bills, they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I do think that. And we talk about that on the Roughing Kicker podcast on tomorrow with Jordan Connor Christopherson. That's one of the questions that we get in our mailbag.
Such a shameless plug. You learn from the best,
Tucker, I'm so proud of you.
I did.
I
sure did.
My little Chiefs boys growing up, working in plugs with answers. Rudy, your number one threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
It is if the Looney Tunes kidnap Patrick Mahomes to help stop the upcoming threats. It won't be the Monstars and Looney Tunes and Space Jam 2, apparently, but whoever it is, if you need to take down monsters, who to go to?
Patrick Mahomes. The same as with the aliens, really.
Duh.
That's a great point. That's Tucker Franklin. You can check out the Ref and the Kicker Chiefs podcast and follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. He doesn't know this, but he's about to stay on the line for commercial break on another segment. Whenever we come back, our top 5 things to do on January 1st, 2020, and our top 5 Christmas movies as we close out 2020, an incredible year of almost entirely sports, and really an incredible year by any number of measures.
At JB Briscoe, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. The biggest discounts of the year are going on now with employee pricing for all at Victory Ford. That's right, all in-stock 2020s are being sold for employee pricing, plus you get all the rebates. From now till December 31st, only at Victory Ford. Visit us in person at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Hey folks, this is Nate Bucati from my friend Gary Joslin and Joslin's Jewelry. Look, in this day and age, most jewelry stores won't give you the service or knowledge that you need. If you want to work with real Kansas Cityans and get a great diamond at a great price, trust me, go to Joslin's. They're all about making friends and having long-term relationships. That's why they do such a great business with their in-house repairs. If you take your ring into one of those big box jewelry stores because it needs a repair, be prepared to pay all kinds of markups and fees that you don't need. That's not what they do at Joslin's. At Joslin's, you get an honest quote, a fair price, and the repairs that you need. And they've got a great selection of diamonds. So give them a call today at 913-341-2021, or you can look them up online at joslinsjewelry.com. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
Spectrum Brands, the leading supplier of hardware and home improvement, is looking for workers at their local warehouse in Edgerton, Kansas, right off I-35. You'll receive day one benefits, 12 paid holidays, and become part of a culture that we love, made up of the right people, a diverse group of people with varied backgrounds. Spectrum Brands is hiring for warehouse workers $16 per hour and equipment operators $17 per hour. Must have 6 months recent reach truck or order picker experience to be an equipment operator. Apply today at spectrumbrands.com/careers. That's spectrumbrands.com/careers. Turn your job into a career with Spectrum Brands.
A&M Flooring, your one-stop shop flooring store. They've been in business for 30 years and carry all varieties of flooring in their showroom for you to come and see. They guarantee to have your everyday lowest prices. Better floor, better future. Come in and see them today. They're located in the heart of Johnson County, off 135th and Plum, next to Sherwin-Williams.
Menards has the best and brightest ideas for lighting your home. Explore our lighting showroom and find your style with over 1,000 styles of Patriot Lighting interior lights for your entire home. Like the Bee Island light with a modern white wash finish. It's perfect for any kitchen island or dining area. Get it for $199.99 at Menards. Price is good through Thursday, December 24th. Plus, give the perfect gift with a Menards gift card.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Space Camper Cosmic IPA is a juicy hop blast of flavor. Citrusy and balanced, this is an IPA with a mission: to save the Earth, because it's the only planet with beer. You might not know it, but Boulevard Brewing Company has been passionate about taking care of our planet for decades. Between their zero-waste brewery to Ripple Glass, Boulevard has been making great beer you can feel great about. Stock up on Space Camper Cosmic IPA today. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
Jerry is a 71-year-old Kansan.
This is Jerry.
Jerry is here to tell every Kansan to get a free COVID test to protect him and everyone else.
Get a COVID test, and I don't want to hear your belly aching.
Jerry doesn't want to hear your belly aching. He knows testing is one of the best ways to stop the spread and protect seniors, like Jerry.
No grumbling, no complaining, no squawking.
You've been old-schooled. Get a free COVID test, wear a mask, and keep your distance. Stop the spread. It's up to us, Kansas.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Think outside the box. That's my tip. And don't take yourself too seriously. Too very
That was a
serious.
pretty serious answer.
With Joshua Brisco.
Do as he
Well, I
says,
mean, he
not
wasn't
as he
the
does.
smart interchin.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Former intern and now many more things than that. Tucker Franklin's still with us here. I'm Joshua Brisco. Rudy Salazar on the other side of the glass. Tucker on the phone. Deputy editor of Arrowhead Report, host of the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. Most importantly, though, former intern here on Almost Entirely Sports and our king of power rankings. We got 2 power rankings left for the year 2020. Tucker, are you ready?
I am. I'm glad that you guys have more liners now. I've very much enjoyed them.
Rudy said that you have his favorite category of liners.
You do.
I have to imagine there's probably double digits.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty ridiculous things.
Getting close.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. The Tucker Franklin file is a lengthy one. And that might be another one, I guess. I don't know. We've got 2 more power rankings left. Rudy just marked it. Rudy, hit the music. Let's do 2 more power rankings. Our 2 remaining categories are things to do on January 1st, 2021, and our top 5 Christmas movies. Also, one more shout out to Ice to Pyro on Twitch, who says, I'm running out of data, but thanks for the shout out. Thank you for using all of your data. On December 16th, by the way, you've got 2 weeks of this month left.
But this is the last show with you here, so what else are you going to use data for, right?
That's a great point. Also, Brent DKC on Twitch and then someone named Tucker D. Franklin on Twitch are having a conversation about Phillip Rivers being slightly scary. Also, Andrew OU_SAS talking about playoff Patrick Mahomes being Sunday Tiger Woods, and then also Phillip Rivers and Justin Houston having a chance to derail the Chiefs is also a little scary. I think that's actually reasonable. We're on Twitch now. Top 5 things.
Franklin guy sounds cool.
Tucker, you know what they say the most important part of comedy is? Timing.
Never heard of it.
Number 5 thing to do on January 1st, 2021. Rudy, what's your number 5 thing to do on January 1st, 2021?
Chug 5 glasses of water because you got to hydrate. Got to start off the year hydrated.
Tucker, what's your number 1 thing to do on January 1st, 2021?
Sleep in.
That's good. Mine is take a very long shower. You're not just washing off the New Year's Eve. You're washing off
all the year.
All of it. You got to get in there and scrub, and you get a loofah.
Yeah.
Get some bar soap. Get some liquid soap. Get a few different anti-dandruff shampoos. Really get in there.
Very good.
Deep clean. Number 4, Rudy.
Call in sick, whatever it is. Not everybody works. Some people have to. Maybe it's a family engagement. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, call in sick.
Don't go. Just don't go. January 1st, don't go. You're sick.
And I know right now this is maybe not the best time to be telling people you're sick.
It's a great point.
Sick.
I'm sick with a tummy ache and the sniffles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, my smell is gone, but I'm sick.
Tucker, number 4. Number 4 thing to do on January 1st, 2021.
Yep, keep drinking.
It's a good point.
That's good advice. My number 4 thing to do on January 1st, 2021, put on your mask again. It's a new year, But the COVID doesn't die. It wasn't called COVID-20. It didn't just die out of the end of 2019. It's still going to be around for a little bit. So put your mask back on. Rudy, number 3.
Debating for a few hours about going to work out.
Ooh.
It's a long-standing tradition. Every January 1st. Am I going to go work out today?
You know what? I'm going to hop in with number 3 and jump ahead of Tucker here because my number 3 thing to do on January 1st, 1 push-up. January 2nd, 2 push-ups.
Oh, man.
January 3rd, 3 push-ups. January 4th, quit.
I like this plan.
Tucker, number 3.
Well, I think I'm going to stay on the same route that you guys are. I was going to say, end your New Year's resolution.
No, quit. Just quit.
Just quit them, yeah.
I think that's good. Number 2, Rudy.
I sense a trend. Number 2, give up on New Year's resolutions. Just get them out of here. You debated it. You debated working out. That's good enough. You're good for the year. Let's try again next year. New year, new me.
So Rudy so far is hydrate, quit, think about not quitting, quit again.
Yeah.
But at least you're hydrated.
But you're hydrated.
Tucker, number 2.
Mm-hmm. Go back to sleep.
Good one.
Which was also your number 5.
No, my number 5 is sleeping in. So once you wake up, go back to sleep.
You get nice and hydrated. You think about working out, and now you're tired.
But
now
also
you've worked up a
Tucker's
sweat.
Remember, Tucker is waking up, drinking more, and then going back to bed.
Of course.
What day of the week is the 1st this year?
Oh man.
I guess I should probably look at that, huh?
It's a Friday.
It is a Friday. Oh boy.
It's a dangerous day to have the 1st. You got the whole weekend ahead.
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, a little 3-day weekend to start 2020 is getting off on the right foot, though.
Got to pace yourself.
My number 2, practice writing 2021. Just write it a bunch. Write 1/1/21. Get really into that practice so you don't have to spend the first 6 months of 2021 scribbling out the 0 to making it a 1. It is not a convenient one. It's not like getting a 1 to a 2 or I guess a 5 to a 6. 15 to 16. That's easy. This is a tough one. Get some practice. Number 1 thing to do on January 1st, 2021, Rudy.
This was a college tradition and maybe my favorite tradition I've ever had. Hoo Hot Mongolian Grill. Oh man, going there on January 1st to really just start off the year right after a festive night.
Yeah.
That gets you going.
That sounds great.
It was lovely.
My family used to go to a hibachi restaurant.
Yeah.
You get shrimp thrown at your face on
like
New
maybe
Year's
a
Eve.
Benihana.
Yeah.
Benihana's is like the main one.
Sure.
There are obviously others, but that's the generic chain.
Think about the idea of a stranger throwing food into your open mouth in 2020.
Yeah, but think about this. Little rice volcano.
Oh,
so cool. Or is it
onion volcano?
Onion volcano.
Yep.
Not rice.
I'm really good at catching food in my mouth, by the way.
It's a weird skill of mine too.
Yeah. Tucker, how are you catching food in your mouth?
I think the last time I went to a hibachi or whatever it is. Was that what's called a hibachi?
Yeah, hibachi restaurant.
I went 5 for 5 on
Yeah,
Sunday,
you
so,
did.
Not a big deal, but I'm pretty good.
I'd pay money for a TikTok of you just getting hit in the forehead with a shrimp.
Just like a live shrimp.
Yeah, that would really do a lot for the world. What's your number 1 thing to do January 1st, 2020? 1.
Nothing. Just nothing.
It's a busy day for you, Tucker. Pace yourself, buddy. Pace yourself.
Try to squeeze in a nap just to make sure you're well rested.
Yeah, drink some water. You're going to be dehydrated. Hydrate, buddy.
My number 1 thing to do, this is very personal to me. My number 1 thing to do on January 1st, 2021, barf. Now, I'll explain quickly. Both January 1st, 2018 and January 1st, 2019 involved me barfing in the wee hours of the morning. That is not a frequent occurrence for me, but it happened New Year's Day 2 years in a row. And then, New Year's Day 2020, I was like, you know what? We're breaking. Did I get a little tummy ache? Probably. But we're not going to barf to start off the year this year. We're going to break that trend. And then look what happened.
It all went.
This could have been on me.
It probably was.
I'm not superstitious. But I'm a little stitious. And that's the only thing I can think that I really did differently to, like, kick off the year. So I got a barf, I guess, for everybody. I think this year I might just do it by eating a bunch of donuts or something, just, alone
Debbie
in the
Christmas
dark.
trees.
Little Debbie Christmas trees, yeah. There's that. There's our top 5 things to do January 1st, 2021. Top 5 Christmas movies.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys close this one. I'm gonna start actually this time. Number 5 for me. Can I give an honorable mention? Is that allowed?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I imagine by this time next year, Fat Man starring Mel Gibson will be number 1. I just haven't seen it yet. But
you know it's good, right?
Mel Gibson as a basically like John Wick Santa.
A Rambo Santa.
There's no way that's not the best Christmas movie of all time. I just haven't seen it yet because of some of the unpleasantness currently going on. So that's an honorable mention. Number 5 for me, Charlie Brown Christmas. That's
solid.
Nice and nostalgic.
Yeah, it's good, solid.
It's just it's Linus's blanket. That's my number 5. Tucker, what's your number 5 Christmas movie?
So you may know there's like a faction of Christmas movies out there that suck and that are really bad.
Yeah.
But that are like so bad that you like have to watch them because they're like, holy cow, this is really bad.
Yeah, almost all of them.
Brought my attention to this. Yeah, it's Drew Gooden, the YouTuber. He brought my attention to this faction of movie. So my honorable mention is The Night Before Christmas, KNIGHT.
Yes.
It's about a knight who gets sent to 2019 in the future to fall in love with Vanessa Hudgens. And I'm not really sure what the plot of it is, but it's around Christmas time, but they fall in love. But then when he falls in love, he goes back in time. So I'm not 100% sure about that movie. But another one I wanted to mention, this is my number 5, Christmas Mail. I don't know if you've heard of it. 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What's it called?
It's a 4.8 out of 5 on eBay. It's called Christmas Mail.
Mail?
Mail as in what you deliver or mail?
M-A-I-L.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's 5 and which one's the honorable mention?
5 is Christmas Mail.
Okay. The Night Before Christmas with a K is an honorable mention.
That's the honorable mention, yeah.
Excellent. Rudy, number 5 Christmas movie.
The Santa Claus 3. It's the end of the trilogy of Tim Allen's Amazing Christmas trilogy.
Yeah.
Some say the best trilogy of all time.
Of all time, yeah. At the end, whenever Tim Allen dies, and it's like, well, I have to go now because I can't stop being Santa in this movie until I die. I thought that was very moving.
Very good movie.
My number 4 is The Grinch with Jim Carrey.
It's a very good one.
I've
watched that movie a lot.
My mom hated it, so I think I watched it like once when I was pretty little, never watched it again. Renee's a big fan of it, so I watched it again last year. And honestly, I don't like that many Christmas movies, so this one's number 4.
It's good though. I enjoyed it.
It's good, yeah.
I watched the movie a lot growing up.
I've got a pretty good like Grinch impression that I'm really workshopping. Not quite there yet. Not really ready for
I hear
air.
the Grinch Stole Christmas musical though. Very bad.
I've also seen Justin McElroy tweet about it.
That's apparently very bad.
And very sexually charged, which makes me a little interested.
It makes sense because I think the guy who plays the Grinch is the teacher from Glee, and it makes sense.
He's a very sexual Grinch.
Yeah, he's a sexual attractive man. Like I imagine he plays the very
as the Grinch. You think?
I bet he.
You think he makes the Grinch sexy? You think he pulls it off?
Exudes it. So it's he's not trying to.
Fair.
It just leaks out, right?
Yeah.
I would have used a number of different verbs, but that's okay.
There've been worse verbs.
Tucker, number 4.
I'm also going to go with the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Excellent.
It's a good one. There's a lot of good like one-liners in there that you can say like that's it. I'm not going. There's stuff like that. a lot of memes from it too. So
Great point.
It's a good movie, I would say overall.
Great point. The memes really do elevate it. Rudy, number 4.
Yep.
Number 4 for me is El Camino Christmas. It is a Netflix original movie starring, it's got Dax Shepard, it has Jessica Alba, it has
So this
Tim
isn't
Allen.
the Breaking Bad sequel El Camino.
No,
Okay.
no. El Camino Christmas. It's got it's a Netflix original handful. It's like a funny kind of it's a comedy. It's a comedy Christmas movie.
Sure.
It's got Dax Shepard. It's got Tim Allen. Those are funny people.
I've not heard of it, but now I know.
Yeah, it came out, I believe, last year.
My number 3, Polar Express. I love. I'm afraid that I've angered Tucker. We'll see I don't know if it's going to be on your list higher or if you think it's a bad movie. I loved it whenever it came out, and I was that age. So it just all Christmas movies really need is a nostalgic connection.
Totally.
Polar Express does it for me. Tucker, what's your number 3?
Yeah, the thing with Polar Express for me is the animation has always made me really uncomfortable.
Sure.
Just the way that the movie's animated, so I never really latched on to it. I don't have any problem with people who like it, but I just never caught the buzz, if you know what I'm saying.
Totally fair. Especially Tom Hanks's character on top of the train. I still think about
It's
that
CG,
in my dreams.
right?
Yeah.
CG is always, it can be a very weird
It's very
middle
uncanny
ground.
valley. Yeah, for sure. Number 3,
What
Tucker.
number we on?
Number 3.
Okay. Home Alone. I like that. It's a good classic. Can't go wrong with it. Home Alone is always one I like to turn on around the holidays.
I don't think I've ever seen it the whole way through. Yeah. That's fine, though. Sorry. Go ahead, Rudy, number 3.
Number 3, the second best movie of the greatest trilogy of all time, The Santa Claus 2, starring Tim Allen. I'm a big fan of Santa Claus 2. I've seen it the second
Is that the one
most.
with Jack Frost?
No, it's the one with Tim Allen. Well, actually, I guess.
No, Jack Frost, because Martin, one of the Martins. Which Martin is it? I think there's a Martin.
George Martin?
Yeah,
Is it George R.R. Martin? Maybe Jon Snow appeared?
No, I think number 3 is the one that has one of the Martins as Martin Short is Jack Frost in Santa Claus 3.
Is number 2 where he's trying to find a wife?
Well, really, these are questions for Rudy, who loves these movies more than life itself. Rudy is Googling. Santa Claus 2 appears to be the one...
I'm not Googling anything. I was just over here looking at something.
Santa Claus 2 appears to be the one where there's that toy Santa, general that tries to overthrow him or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I think Santa Claus...
Santa Claus... So I just needed a quick refresher. The Santa Claus 2, he's been the Claus. He's now Santa. And he's just informed by his head elf. It's like, hey, Santa, there's another Claus, right? It's not just Mr. Claus. There's a Mrs. Claus. So Santa Claus 2, he has to go find Mrs. Claus.
Oh, so Santa Claus 2 is the one where he's trying to get Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus 2, he's trying to get the Mrs. Claus. Because you can't have a Santa Claus without a Mrs.
Mrs.
Santa
Claus was also in Lost.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Elizabeth Mitchell. She's great.
Yeah.
She was also in Once Upon a Time TV show.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a great actress.
There you go. Number 2 for me is Elf. I get it. It's going to be high on most people's lists. It's one of those fairly new classics. It is a classic. Honestly, I don't think I've watched it in its entirety in an extremely long time. But when it's on TV, I'm cool with it. Elf is number 2 for me. Tucker, number 2 Christmas movie.
Number 2, I gotta go with Die Hard. If you're gonna call Home Alone a Christmas movie, you gotta call Die Hard a Christmas movie. So that's how I gauge that, and Die Hard's a good movie.
Never saw Die Hard.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and I only say that because I like having opinions on things I also haven't seen the film.
Fair enough.
And maybe it is a Christmas movie. I really don't know. Rudy, number 2.
So number 2, I have a Christmas with the Cranks, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen.
I've heard of it. Another Tim. Sorry, are these all? Is Tim Allen in El Camino Christmas?
With Jessica Alba and Dax Shepard.
Crack the code.
Hey, you don't know. Could just be a coincidence.
I honestly, I think there's a decent chance that it is. My number one Christmas movie, and this is just so my mom will get me presents again. It's genuinely true. Number one on my list is It's a Wonderful Life. This was a film. This was Broccoli. It was a film I was forced to watch many times over in my childhood, but unlike some of my mom's other favorite painful movies like Sweet Home Alabama, this one actually stuck. This one has the nostalgia factor. I'm here for it, and I will laugh every single time George Bailey says the phrase, "Why do we have to have all these kids?" Every single time, that will make me laugh. It's a classic. We are out of time. So, Tucker, what's your number one Christmas movie?
Christmas Vacation, pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah, very good one.
I don't believe I've seen the full film.
It's very good.
Rudy, what's your number one Christmas movie?
My number one Christmas movie is The Santa Claus, starring Judge Reinhold. I think he was the only big name in that movie.
I thought you were going to say Toy Story with Buzz Light. Starring Tim Allen as Buzz Light.
I always forget he's in that movie.
He's apparently not in the Buzz Lightyear spinoff that's coming.
Yeah,
I think it's Chris Evans or something.
Yes, which is
fair enough.
Weird, but fine.
We're way out of time. Thank you, Tucker, for bringing the Power Rankings, the holiday spirit, the Christmas joy, and Power Rankings all year long. We'll talk to you again in 2021.
Yep, always a pleasure, Josh.
Maybe. New Year's Day for him is going to be rough.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
All right, I don't know what you want for this holiday season, but this guy right here wants practical gifts. Gifts I can use, right? Like a great razor. Harry's razors are the best razors around. I made the switch in 2015, and anyone you give a Harry's razor to will thank you for years to come. And right now, for a limited time, my listeners can save $5 off holiday shave sets, plus get free shipping if you use the promo code PETRO at harrys.com. They make the sharpest blades ever. Engineered in their German factory, they're award-winning razors backed by a 100% quality guarantee. And their refills are as low as $2 each, so they'll save money time and time and time again. Harry's holiday shave sets come in prepackaged, handsome holiday-themed gift boxes. You can even make it personal by engraving the razor handle. And 1% of each sale is donated back to charitable organizations. Right now, take advantage. Go to harrys.com, use the promo code PETRO to get $5 off, plus free shipping off at any Harry's limited edition holiday set. Weighted handle, 3 razor cartridges, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover, all in a great gift box. Don't give socks, give Harry's. Harrys.com, promo code PETRO.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey.
And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Stuck at home? Make home more fun for the family with Family Leisure. Family Leisure has a huge selection of pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, pool tables, fire pits, massage chairs, grill islands, basketball goals, and more. Call us to find out about free no-contact delivery or free curbside service. 913-888-7727. Locally owned and serving Kansas City for over 25 years. Family Leisure, K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome!
This holiday season, your Kansas City Acura dealers are supporting Patrick Mahomes' charity, 15 and the Mahomies. Test drive any Acura before December 31st, and they'll make a donation for every test drive, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a Patrick Mahomes signed jersey. They're offering the best deals of the year on every Acura in stock, including the 2020 MDX with 0.9% APR financing for qualified buyers. It's the Season of Performance event at your Kansas City Acura dealer. APR ends January 4th. PMC edition excluded. See dealer for details.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm Show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
Visit Shane Company for easy last-minute gifts, wrapped with a burgundy bow and ready to give. We have fine jewelry in every price range, made to last a lifetime. Our diamond necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and rings have extraordinary sparkle and brilliance and make a great holiday gift. Our vibrant rubies and sapphires will add color and sophistication to any jewelry collection, and our hoop earrings are also a big hit. Come in and browse our large selection. Let our friendly and non-commissioned jewelry consultants help you find the perfect gift, or shop online now to get it in time for Christmas. There's a wonderful joy in giving and receiving a gift of fine jewelry from Shane Company. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com. Open weekdays 9 till 9, Saturday 10 till 8, and Sunday 11 to 5.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Seahawks-Ravens, not happening. Ravens-Eagles. Love this game, love this matchup. Could be an interesting quarterback situation, and Earl Thomas gets to play in the city of brotherly love.
Anywho, I love Drew Brees.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
We've got no time at all to wrap up this show. I don't know if we'll have a couple AESs. Maybe Allie Tro steps in next week. I'll be around for the post-game show after Chiefs Saints this weekend, so I'll be back on the microphone one more time in 2020. But then I'm going to go see my family around Christmas. Just ridiculous of me. Very selfish.
Oh, fair.
That might be our new humbug also. Oh, fast. Pretty good. You're not going to have time to get to it. There's no way. Good luck, Rudy. I cannot say often enough, first of all, to subscribe to all of the places we can get the show. AES.show for the podcast, and then, of course, YouTube, Facebook, now Twitch, all those things. I cannot say thank you enough for all the shows we've done this year, from Beards to Rudy to everyone at 810 to all of the mini guests that I'm not going to try to name because I'll leave someone out that's a regular, and I'll feel bad about it for the rest of the year. And thank you many times over for everyone who's listened to so many minutes, hours, days of this show over 2020. It's been a bizarre year, but I've very much enjoyed getting to do this show as often as we have. So I will talk to you again in 2021. Until then, see you soon, Mom.
Oh, fair.
Yeah!
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built